Record.
Record, press record.
Hello and welcome to this week's session of, I'm not using any adjective or expanded noun phrases anymore. It's just going to be welcome to this week's session, our RPG session to do with Mithras, which is a fantasy role-playing game. It's a fantasy setting. Hey, Longshanks EPG has just subscribed 11 months in a row.
Oh my god.
You are on your way. You've already achieved your waffling baby. And can I just now say 18 months is the gestation period of an African elephant. So go for your Twitch elephant baby next. I'm just making sure that everybody's sound works. Can somebody just talk?
I can talk.
Yeah, that's all right. It seems to be working.
I'm too shocked to talk.
It's picking up something. I think there's people moving around, so that's cool. So Mithras is a fantasy-based RPG based roughly on RuneQuest. So it's a percentile dice. There's no classes. There's not a lot of races in it. It's just sort of like anybody could be anything. It has normal combat, which consists of fighting and parrying and hit locations and bleeds and special maneuvers, and the magic is separated out into folk magic, which is common everyday magic that anybody can cast. Then it goes into sorcery, which is the most powerfulest of magic. You have theists who cast like clerical magic, and there's also animists who operate in the world of the spirits, and also mystics as well that use the power of magic to channel energy into their bodies, a bit like monks. However, we have 4 very intrepid adventurers here with us today, and they are willing and waiting to introduce themselves, and they'll be telling you who they are and who they are playing. And as always, we're going to go just down there to the one and only Mr. Pickles.
Hello guys, I am Mr. Pickles. I am playing our theist of the group. I worship the goddess Amriel, who is a god of the light moon, one of 2 moons. We also had an adventurer with us that worshipped the dark moon, but he's no longer with us. Bartleby, this of monster knowledge, of helping people out, and more monster knowledge mostly. I also have a bracelet, which we found out last adventure. We found out previous adventures that was killing me softly, but we may have a solution. And now I'm going to throw the microphone over to Medivac Catch.
Thank you. Hi everybody, I'm Medivac and I play Hessaret Khan, a nomad from the steppes who is adept at surviving in the in the wilds. He's a scout. He fights with a sword, with a scimitar and a spear, and he's trying to find his lost tribe, which he will never find, I don't think. But you never know. He'll just take one day at a time, go where adventure takes him, and follow his feet. And with that, I shall pass it on to Longshank CPG. Catch. Good catch.
Thanks, Medivac. Hi guys, I'm Longshank EPG. Tonight I'm playing the mysterious warrior from a foreign land called Hengist. He's of noble birth, although not very much of noble bearing at the moment. He tends to fight in heavy armor with a sword and shield, and stuff's happening. So I will pass it on to the last and only player left, Chugawugga.
You just chuck some out, mate.
No.
Could have had my eye out. Hi guys, I'm Chugawugga. I play Gulliver, the young, short, scrawny apprentice sorcerer. He has a mop of ginger hair, freckly complexion. He is an apprentice in the Order of the Kraken, which is one of the 4 sorcerer orders on Odys. The Order of the Kraken specializes in spells involving communication, transportation, and teleportation. And I will pass back on to our GM, Inwills. And just so you know, I didn't know, do you pronounce it scimitar or scimitar?
I say scimitar.
Scimitar. Yeah.
Scimitar.
You can say however you like, actually.
It's still scimitar.
I I was thinking about a little
what we told you
end bit.
about that?
I know you could smell the burning. I was thinking about a little addition to everybody's intro, but just as I tried to get it in, somebody passed it over to somebody else. Hessaret, you also reminded me of the little hobo. Did you? Maybe tomorrow I want to settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on.
Look at the young ones,
I was trying to think, Bartleby, you reminded me of something, but I couldn't get it in quick enough. And it's gone now. I forget.
I was actually reading Reddit earlier on in the week, and I was on the Starfinder Reddit, and somebody used a word that Inwills uses.
Oh,
so
I
immediately downvoted them.
And what was it? Was dichotomy.
Yeah, dichotomy, and I looked at it and I thought, this guy. Honestly, you don't use words like that on Reddit.
Was it me?
No. I was reading up about how the differences between melee and ranged, and which one people thought were better.
I read that.
Yeah.
I think it was interesting. I think the only interesting thing about it that I thought was really nice is that the attack of opportunity. So I well, I know we're not playing Starfinder, but I put it in the chat that if you're actually stood next to somebody and one person is firing a gun and the other person's hitting with a melee weapon, the person with the melee weapon gets an attack of opportunity on you every time you fire your pistol. And so which I quite like the idea of, because if you're really close, it stops people. What I think it's meant to do is to encourage you that when you go into melee combat, you actually draw a melee weapon rather than sort of like keeping it on the with your weapon out. So yeah, so that was interesting. Excellent. So welcome, and this is episode 2 of something called Hessaret's Treasure. And the party finished an 8 or 9 episode adventure the other week when they went up to a town in the north of the country of Lindo, north of Lindo in the continent of Odes. They went up and rescued and did wonderful things at a place called Ubin Falls, and then they came down. They came down and came back to Lindo, and they trained up, and they reported back to the Count, and that was when somebody removed a rug and a huge chaos beast came into existence, and you bravely fought that off. And then the other thing that happened is that you all went off to Sylvester McHoon's, and you gained some very valuable information from him, including information about Hessaret's treasure, and also, Bartleby, you gained very important information about the bracelet which is on your wrist, and you also received some information about the other items. And I think, Bartleby, you also asked about Otis the Guardian, which Sylvester commented that if his IQ matched his bravery, he would have been an intelligent sort of person. And yeah, and from that, you also, I think Gulliver and Bartleby, you also did some research on a sorcerer, is that correct?
Matilda.
And if you remember, you were looking to venture forth to the town of Advent, and which is over the opposite side of the Odes continent. Yeah, so Lindo is sort of like on the southeastern peninsula, and Advent is completely over on the west. And
in the realm. Yeah,
in a place called the Realm. And remember what Sylvester was saying to you is that it would take you years to travel there. However, Gulliver and Bartleby found out that there was a mage portal, which you have been familiar with since that's how you came back from Ubin Falls. At that point, I think it was at that point that we left the game last week. and it was up to you guys to decide what you would like to be doing and how you would like to do it, etc., etc. So just remind me, Bartleby and Gulliver, I think you found out about the sorcerer Matilda and her mage tower, but that was it. I don't think you had gone back to see your mentor Gulliver at all.
No. We hadn't.
Okay.
We learned an insult too, I think, to call someone a seed sorcerer.
Oh yes, I remember now. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to using that on somebody.
Yeah.
From half the soul.
Oh yeah,
Just seed sorcerer.
and just to get that, Gulliver, you are carrying the reptilian seed. Bartleby, you have the bracelet on, and the fungal seed was handed over to the wielder of the Dark Moon's power.
Who then promptly left and didn't see him again.
Yeah, and has left. Okay then, so
that's all on Hengist.
No, it didn't happen. It's fine.
So let's get on it and see what happens in this adventure. And Hessaret, we'll start with you. What's your plan? What would you like to do, etc., etc.
Okay, well, Hessaret, after listening to McHoon, is a little bit concerned about Bartleby and his health. So he's going to basically ask if you need any help in recovering a cure for himself.
Bartleby is not concerned as much as he should be. He definitely has confidence that Amriel will guide us to the direction to find the death mask and the torque. Yeah, that's right. I remembered necklace, but that's not right. I'm sure Amriel will guide us there.
Because the bracelet is slowly ebbing your life force away from you. Yeah.
Like a vampire.
Is there anything that Hessaret would like to do for himself? Anything that he is top of his list to get organised before we leave Lindo again?
No, he was still searching around to learn about cartography and maybe pathfinders. Something to look into in the future. You know,
the main cartographer in the town is the person that you've just left, because that, of course, is Sylvester McHoon. Really? He is the chief cartographer. If you remember, he's interested in two things:
information and
knowledge and maps. So he is essentially the chief cartographer in the town of Lindo. Okay then, so Gulliver, what is your plan of action?
Well, Gulliver's on the understanding that the best way to gain entrance to the or get use of the mage portals, because the mage portals aren't just open to anybody to use willy-nilly.
Correct.
The actual mage portals are guarded by the higher mages, so you have to be very high up in the Order of the Kraken to be able to use their power. So he can't just go up to the Order and say, "Hello, we want to go to Matilda's tower. Do you mind opening a portal for us?" So he's under the understanding that probably the best way to actually get to be able to use the mage portal would be to go through the count and actually get the party to be almost hired by the count, probably under the pretense that we want to investigate the attack that came on it, and say that maybe this is, of course, without letting Bartleby in on the.
So if you're bringing the count into it, there's several things that I need to make you aware of. Number one, you're probably going to have to give over some of the information that you guys have, and yet the Count does not currently have. For example, the Count hasn't mentioned anything to you about the bracelet that Bartleby wears, or the sanctuary, or anything like that. He wasn't also he doesn't know about Cassini or anything like that. So if you are planning to sort of like include him, then you're going to have to be somewhat
forthright
or selective.
Yeah, I mean, Gulliver's idea was more the fact that that there was an attack in the Count's throne room, I suppose it was called, his court, and it was obviously an attack on the Count's life. It seemed the monster that came through, its primary goal was to kill the Count.
Yeah. But also remember what he came through.
Yeah, he came through one of the mage portals, but whether or not it was, Gulliver didn't get a close look at it, but it was a mage portal that had been hastily done, which probably means that it wasn't. It was done by somebody within the actual castle.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is that remember that the Count, because even though you guys defended him against the Chaos Beast, he might be somewhat suspicious of the Order of the Kraken at the moment, because of the portal on his floor. Because as you are aware, the only people who actually have those portals are the Blue Order. So that's what I'm making you aware of. So if you are going towards the Count to ask for something, you need to be aware that there is that left over from the last game. And the reason I'm bringing it up is that I realise that it's been 2 weeks. So I'm just trying to refresh people's minds about what to do. Hengist, what about you? What would you like to be doing?
Well, Hengist is probably going to go back to his replacement captain after Sarv's demise, to talk about the future of him in the guard as he sees it.
In the under the umbrella of leaving the order, then leaving the town guard. Okay.
Yeah.
And what about you, Bartleby? What's your plans?
Bartleby initially had intended to, after his chores or whatnot that his church requires him to do, go down to help the impoverished community, but I believe that Bartleby got distracted on the way down there, hopefully at a candle shop. If at all, Bartleby is topping off his candle supply, which I don't think he needs to. I wasn't giving out any candles, but otherwise watching candles be made and chatting up the candle workers.
Cool. So what you need to do, let's say that you meet up. You can deduct the silver coinage from your equipment list, Bartleby, and gain your candles. And let's say that you are currently back in the Hairy Hobgoblin, and you have the opportunity to start to talk about your next actions, what you wish to do. At this point, we will assume that Hessaret and Hengist, that Gulliver and Bartleby have shared the information that they got from their last visit to Gulliver's Orders Library, and you're back together now in order to decide your course of actions. What do you wish to do, and how do you wish to get there?
So, Gulliver's going to sort of like after they finished the meal and everybody sort of like sat around with their tankards of ale. Although Gulliver himself has just a glass of water, he's going to say, "I think it's obvious that we need to get to Matilda's. Either we need to use the portal to the mage tower, or we need to find a portal that's somewhere as close to it as possible. Maybe even Advent has one, and then travel to the tower from there. But the thing is, who do we trust with the information? I can't just go up to Mistress Duncan and say, "Oh, is it all right if we use one of the portals, please?"
Why not?
because not anybody can use the portal. People just use it as almost like oh, I need to get here. Oh, I'm late for this. Let's use the portal. It has to be something important or ordered by somebody important to be able to do it.
Oh, understood, Gulliver. That's unfortunate. You don't think you could persuade her that our cause is great?
Not without giving her too much information. And I think the secret's always hard to keep when everybody knows about it.
Are you able to use the portal, Gully?
I don't have the magical knowledge yet to be able to open the portal myself. It would require somebody very high up in the order.
So what we're saying is that we need to confide in someone, no matter what path we choose. Somebody will have to be told an aspect of what we're doing.
Yeah, we're either going to have to put somebody, in our confidence, or we're going to have to get somebody who can order the order to actually open the portal.
I suppose it comes down to how many people you would like to be involved.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The question is, do we involve the Count, who would then order your order to use the portal, involving 2 people, or do we just go straight to your order and confide in them and hope that they will let us go through with it? With the Count, you've got the possibility of him, because we've already been involved with Yubin Falls, that he will let us go. But with your order, maybe they will say more senior people should be involved.
See,
who knows?
I don't think the Count really trusts the Order of the Kraken at the moment, basically because the thing that attacked us in the throne room came through one of the Order's portals, and for that to have been opened, not anybody can open it. The Order of the Dragon can't open it, or the Order of the Phoenix. It has to be a member of the Order of the Kraken to be able to open it. Only we know the spells.
Or an ex-member of
Yes,
the Order of the Kraken.
Who was that servant that pulled the rug back?
I don't know. It would have been really helpful if somebody had gone after them, but unfortunately we were...
Nobody did.
I was preoccupied by the chaos.
Well, I was anyway, protecting the Count.
Would someone in your order know of people who have left, either in disgrace or rejected your ways?
I think what you've got to remember, Hengist, is that I'm just an apprentice in the order, and I don't know many people in it. There's old Cuthbert who works in the library, but I mean he doesn't talk much. He mumbles a lot, and the only other person I know in it is Mistress Duncan. And to be quite honest with you, she's very laid back in her ways. She's happy where she is, and she's one of these people that doesn't really want to rock any boats. So I think if I went to her and even told her about the seeds and told her what we thought was going on, I don't think she really has the get up and go to get up and get it done.
The important thing to think of is that the servant, whoever he was, must have been high up in your order to be able to use a portal, as you have said.
I think the important thing to realise, Hasra, is that I don't think he actually used the portal. He just, if you remember when we were down in Yubin Falls, the portal couldn't be used because it had been put with furniture, and I think I think it was exactly the same case in the throne room, that it couldn't be used because it was covered over with a rug. So for the beast to come through, the servant had to remove the rug, and it could have been the fact that he was being paid silver pieces.
And Bartleby and Hengist, can you just make perception rolls for me, please?
I would love to. Let me change to be Mr. Pickles. No, not Mr. Pickles. Bartleby.
Yeah. Yeah, so Bartleby, you notice that at the door, somebody comes in. It's one of the Bluebirds, the messaging guild that is owned by the Order of the Kraken, and it's the young girl seems to be holding a scroll, and she sort of like comes in and then sort of like takes in the ambience of the tavern and the smell of beer and freshly made pies and cheese and wine and sweaty bodies, and she sort of like almost like takes a step back, and you notice that the Basil, the innkeeper, the tavern keeper, sort of like calls over to her and sort of like says, you know, what do you want? And she comes over and whispers something in his ear, and he points at you, Bartleby. And the girl comes along and sort of like gets about a couple of meters away from you, and then bows to you and says, Master Bartleby?
Is she pretty?
Yeah, she. I wouldn't say pretty. She's a little bit too stern to be pretty.
I think she's pretty.
And Bluebird's uniforms are not. They're just like a tabard that's flung over, and there's no waistband or anything like that. So they probably, it could be a really feminine boy, or young boy. You're not too sure, but she does have long blonde hair tied back in a ponytail, and she goes. So she says, Master Bartleby.
I suppose that's me.
Oh, right. Sorry, Basil said you were sat here. I have a message for you.
For me? Well, what's the message?
Yeah, she says it's this, and she hands over a scroll case, and that is made out of leather, and it has like a strap over it that you can sling over your shoulder, and it's capped down with a little leather strap and a buckle on it. And she brings out a little piece of paper and says, sorry, she says, this is a little bit embarrassing, but she says, are you able to write? If not, a cross will suffice. And she hands you a small piece of paper, and on it says, to Master Bartleby from, and it says in very flowery, ornate cursive script, Sylvester McHoon.
Well, then I'm gonna sign with a big flamboyant B if I can.
Yeah, and you sort of like you do that little curl before you go up strokes, and then each of your B's have that sort of like serif marks on it, and it looks really nice. And she sort of like looks at it and says, "Oh, very impressive, Master." And
will say, "Would you like to join us for some food and maybe some?"
She looks over to you, and you notice that she looks you up and down, Gulliver. What's your mark to register that you're in the order?
He has like a little kraken pin, like the symbol on a blue bit of
oh right, yeah,
bit of, cloth that he has attached to the left side of his.
Similar to that one, yeah.
Yes, so it's just on sort of the left side of his tunic, but the background, the background's just covered with a bit of blue.
Yeah. Well, she sort of like says, sorry, sir. No. As you will be aware, it's against the rules while I'm on duty. And she takes a piece of paper away from you, Bartleby, and hands you the scroll case. And she turns around and says, "Oh, thank you, sirs." and she turns off and she sprints out of the tavern, nearly knocking over the barmaid who's carrying several flagons of ale, and she sort of like turns round with them and a bit drops off onto the floor, but then she corrects herself, and the little girl carries on running and says sorry as she pelts outside the door.
Well, I am jealous of her hands as I look down at my monsters that just did those beautiful bees. I guess I'll open up and start reading.
Yeah, there's nothing to read. There appears to be something to look at, and it is a map.
Oh dear. I just put it down on the table, stretching it out so everybody can see, pushing against somebody's beverage glass or plate if I can.
You also notice that as you unfurl it and put it down, there's a note from Sylvester, and he just says, "Thought this might help," and that's it. And you unscroll it, and you come up with this.
Ooh. Sylvester must have felt bad for making fun of our religions and orders.
Either that or we've started to make a pressure on him.
I think with Sylvester, there's always something that he wants. I don't think he gives anything for free.
Well, I'm not going to stop by and drop off some spare books for him. This is a gift. It's a beautiful gift too.
He probably wants us to go back when we get back and tell him how accurate it is.
There is a scale down on the bottom of the map, which is for your own benefit.
How long does it? Hessaret?
Yes.
If we were, how far can you travel in a day?
Well, I would have thought that at a sensible, safe speed, we should be able to do maybe 15 kilometers or 20 kilometers, depending.
Yeah, so assuming that you travel for 10 to 12 hours in a day, then if you're walking, you'll actually cover about 30 kilometers in a day. Horseback, you can cover 60 kilometers in a day. Wagon, casual speed, only 15 kilometers per day. Obviously, if you're going by sea or river, then you can actually do it a lot more.
Gulliver sort of like look at the map, and then he'll look over to Bartleby and he'll say, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Bartleby?"
There's the chance that I am.
We're probably be better off if we can making our way to Kildare. Is it pronounced Kildare?
Might be Silder.
Silder.
You think?
Yes.
Let's call it Kildare.
Well, we can say that on the road, but once we get there, we should call it Silder, so nobody gets mad at us.
Yeah, I always get confused with the. Mistress Duncan's always telling me that, she keeps saying something funny like I before E except after C. And
That does sound like funny magical words.
It's all to do with my writing and my grammar.
And Bartleby, roll your locale for me, please.
Bring in the locale. Not bringing the locale.
Do you wish to use any luck?
Only if we got our luck back.
You get your luck back at
Every
at the end of every session. So,
Yes, and I'll reroll.
Yeah.
Awesome. Using my luck to reroll the power.
No. Okay then. So you've never heard of Sildar at all, and none of you actually have. Although from the map it looks like it's quite a big, bustling town. Gulliver, you have no idea whether or not there's a portal linked there at all, and you do know that you figured that Matilda's tower is somewhere in the mountains to the west of Advent.
From Gulliver's time spent in the Order so far, which isn't a great deal, does he know whether or not there's any reference on where the portals are and who controls them? For example, is there somewhere that he can go to find out whether or not there is a portal in Silda or Advent, or whether or not it's a case that Advent doesn't have a portal because the closest portal is at Matilda's?
I think from what you've been told,
most towns have a portal.
Yeah, but Advent is more like a village.
Right.
You know, rather than a city or a town like Lindo. Lindo does have one. Silda probably has one as well. What you also know is that from your experience with Ubin Falls is that portals are closely monitored, and there tends to be somebody at Lindo's end or the end that you're leaving, and somebody at the alternative end where you are going to. And hence, you know, if there was one at Silda, then you would be ported to it and somebody would be waiting for you. A bit like the blue robe sorcerer who was at Ubin Falls, that I forget his name.
Hang on, because
Conrad.
Good old Conrad.
Is he the one that we found dead?
Yeah, Conrad Jones.
Gulliver's going to ask.
Hang on. There's one other thing that you asked. Portals tend to be under the ground, and if you remember from Ubin Falls, they tend to be almost like locked away. Your gut feeling is that if you went to Sildar, you're actually going to meet a lot more people who might ask questions rather than going to Matilda's. If there's a portal in Advent, then that might be an easier role. You can actually search your library. There'll be a list. You already know there's a portal at Matilda's from your exploits. But you can roll a literacy roll for me if you want to have a look in the library to see whether or not there's one in Advent or Silda.
I do indeed.
Okay then. You can add on. Oh, well, you don't need it. Yeah.
Nice.
You do know that there is one in Silda,
Yeah.
but there is not one in Advent.
Okay. Does Gulliver know why portals will be granted? For example, stuff like probably dignity,
portals are created to satisfy the need of the Order. They're not there to initiate common folk.
Right.
They are for your purpose. So if you remember at Ubin Falls, round the portal room, there was a whole load of goods.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what those goods were doing round a portal in Ubin Falls, that portal came straight back to Lindo, could have been anything. But one of the options it could have been was that it was almost like a lucrative trade for the Order, rather than smuggling. Perhaps they could have been just shifting things
Spices back
in and out. And if you follow that line of thinking, it's probably, a good reason why the Order might have wanted the portal checked out. And if it was that case, then they actually have some influence over the Count. Following that line of thought, of course.
You would have also assumed that, for them, they would probably want Matilda's portal checked out as well, so that because that would open another revenue.
Very true. It also means that if the order is close to the count, hopefully you've got a few alarm bells ringing, since there was a portal inscribed on the floor in the count's room.
I mean, Gulliver's always assumed that.
Are you guys finished with the map?
You
can have a look at it anytime you want. I just want to move you back onto the...
Yes, yeah, it's fine, yeah.
Onto your...
Could I, and this might be a little bit of a long shot because I know I failed my locale twice. Would I be able to roll commerce to know what major imports or exports might be for Silder or Advent?
You would be able to, apart from you're not aware of the... From your locale roll, you don't actually know much about the town at all. It's also probably not in the influence sphere of Lindo for commerce, since it is completely over the western side of the continent.
That's fair. They probably don't have like timber coming through Lindo
No.
from all the way across the continent.
Correct, yeah.
Fair enough.
It's mahogany.
But if there was Silder mahogany here, I'm sure that I might have a chance of knowing.
Just out of interest, if anything, and you've only got the map to go if anything was coming from Silder, you can see that there's quite a major river. And if anything, if that goes to the coast, then it's likely to be shipped to coast and then sailed round Odess to the towns rather than cross country in any case.
Oh, that's good to know. Do we know whether the river South Vale makes it to the ocean, or
you are not too sure?
We're not too sure. We need to figure that out because that might be our path. If we can't get a teleportation, you know.
I think the problem is that we need to get ahead of people. We always seem to be one step behind everybody.
Well, except for that lady who was one step behind us the entire time. Remember when we went to the library together, guys?
But she could have been doing that on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess in a way she was one step ahead of us, even though she was behind.
Yeah, she was letting us clear the way for her, I think, for that one.
I think we need to tell the order a bit of what's going on.
So what's going to be your plan? Which entrance are you planning on going for? That's probably the best place to start. Where you're planning on going, and then how are you going to get there?
Right. Well, McHoon seems to think that Matilda has something to do with the Kraken anyway, doesn't he? So, did you find out information about that, or was that what you were doing last week? Wasn't it?
Matilda is a member of the or was a member of the Order of the Kraken, but she wasn't all there.
That's right. She went a bit sorry, I was reading my notes.
She was almost like mad, insane, but and she practiced a part of the magic which was classed as wild magic. So it's very
hit and miss
of what it will do. But the thing is, why did the Order of the Kraken just forget about it? And I mean, we do.
Is she still alive? I mean, has her portal been closed off? Has anybody tried to go there, or would they allow us to go there and see if she's still alive?
We should ask.
No, I told you last week that Matilda, not last week, the week before, and the only reason I know this is because I've listened to the whole adventure, because I was a bit thinking, did that happen? What actually happened? And I actually stated last week that this was like centuries ago. She's long since dead now. You know, and
very shriveled.
Allegedly.
Yeah, and the major thing is that Sylvester told you that there was a portal there, and it's whether or not. It seems to me that you have two options. You either go to the Order of the Kraken and get somebody to teleport you to the either to Matilda's tower or to Silda, or you go to the Count and talk to the Count and get them to tell the Order to teleport you to either Matilda's tower or Silda. So no matter which way you go, both involves telling the Order to teleport you there.
So you might as well just go for option 1, just tell the Order and ignore the Count for the time being. Which,
Yeah.
I don't know how that
wait.
sits well with Hengist.
Wait. We can't ignore the Count, though, because we were told we had to stay in this general area until otherwise mentioned, right?
That is correct.
I think we have to go through the Count, because how else? If the Count doesn't give me, it doesn't tell the Order that they want me to go, and they don't tell you, Bartleby, they don't tell your Order that, you have to go, and Hengist could be walking backwards and forwards over, on the top of the walls, looking out for goblins, because he's just a guardsman. And so if the Count doesn't tell us to go, what are you going to just leave the Order? Are you just going to disappear and say, well, I'm sorry, but all the people who are sick and need my help?
If you pull that one, Bartleby probably wouldn't go for a start. To stay with all the sick and needy. So
Greater cooling, Bartleby.
is the plan then to go and talk to the Count about this?
Do we? I mean, Jeremiah's now dead.
Correct.
And
Better be.
we don't really have anybody else within the castle
No.
who. So I mean, we would need somehow to get word to the Count to even get an audience with him.
That's not an issue. You can go to. Hengist is still captain of part of the town's guard, so he can actually go to his captain and ask for the audience in any case. That wouldn't be a problem. And I think what you need to decide upon, maybe not right this minute, but in the future, is the story that you're actually going to tell to the Count. Because I know that you have a habit of one person starting off, then other people dropping big clangers along the way.
Other people, you mean Hengist?
And also
I'm trying to whistle now and I can't whistle.
and also maybe deciding where you want to go and why you want to go there, so that the story is actually straight.
Hengist tight, you mean?
So while you're thinking about that, let's get Hengist off to the town guard, and let's let him see whether or not he can get ejected successfully from the town guard. And while he's there, we will assume that he actually provides you with an audience, or arranges an audience for you with the Count. In the day after, and then you are ready to go. It's normally Bartleby and Gulliver that does the talking, so you can decide. I'm not going to drop you straight in it. Let's get Hengist out the way and done. So Hengist, you head off to the standing captain of the guard. I can't remember his name, but I'm sure I gave him one. We'll call him Bob, Captain Bob in, and he sort of you go, and you're just about to go on to your shift for that day, and you go off to see him, and you say that the group have some important information that they wish to communicate with the Count, and he sort of like takes notes of that and says that he will he calls in the guard from outside the door and says, please take this to the Count, and that guard goes off, and then Bob turns around to you. Captain Bob turns around to you and says, "Anything else?"
Yes, Captain, there is. A little while ago, you asked me what I perceived my future to be in the guard.
Oh yes, I've been thinking greatly about that. And he opens what appears to be a drawer on the side of the desk, and he opens it and he brings out what appears to be a stack of parchment. And he sort of like flicks through them all, and then eventually he sort of like gets one, and you notice at the top of the sheet of paper is written something that you recognise as your name from other documents that you've signed. You don't know what the rest of it says, but you recognise your name and you think, oh, that says Hengist. There you go. And he says, yes, Hengist, we've been considering your contribution to both the Count and the Town Guard, and we have been very impressed with your service so far. And I can just say that there's very many companies very interested within the Town Guard, very interesting in maybe acquiring your services in some way or another. Yes, tell me, what is it that you would like to talk about?
Well, it was more the fact that while I'm more than happy to with the service I've provided so far, I find that the group of travellers that I arrived with and the adventures that we've been on with as part of that, and then obviously also other personal circumstances, mainly being I arrived here in the first place to try and find my sister.
Townsman Hengist, get to the point, please.
I would humbly request that you grant me a exit of the Town Guard.
He looks quite shocked. He says, "But this is most unusual. Nobody has ever in the history of Lindo actually requested exiting the Town Guard. Normally people are fighting to get in. Of course, we do have some people exiting, but that's mainly through to death and maiming. But the rest of them, they see this as an important stage of their life and their livelihood. You want to leave because of your friends?"
Yes, well, there's important events happening that I feel...
Is that young boy getting married? Is this why you need to leave? Because don't worry, Hengist, Town Guard Hengist, we can actually arrange you some leave if it's something important like the young gingerhead snapper's wedding.
I think that would be news to Gulliver that he's getting married. But
is he not then?
He is not. No, it's more that I feel that the way that I'm being pulled at the moment by the events that are happening and my personal circumstances of trying to find my sister would take longer than a leave of absence would allow for.
Right. So you wish to resign from the Town Guard to search for your sister?
Mainly, yes. Her safety obviously is pressing.
You do realise the consequences of this action?
Well, I assume that it wouldn't mean me being put in in prison.
No, quite naturally not. However, you know that news travels quickly.
News does have a habit of always beating you to wherever you're attempting to get to. In any case.
Well, I must say I'm not annoyed or cross. I am somewhat disappointed with your choice to leave one of the highest ranking guilds of warriors in the whole of Lindo. Well, thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people seek every year to become a member of this proud and noble order within Lindo. And within your brief service, he looks down at a piece of paper and sort of like scans down. It seems that you have served us very well, and there's actually a note here of commendation from the Count himself, and he really recommends you to possibly attain in the future a rank of an officer. However, it is obvious that you are not capable of or even possess the skills of something like that, which maybe we had misread your abilities.
That is obviously, I'm happy to hear that everyone thinks so highly of me, but with different circumstances, then I would of course have followed through with as getting to as high as
there is no need to explain, Hengist. He drops the guard part, or the town guard. Hengist, he just calls you Hengist. The town guard is for the brave and the fearless, and people who wish to put their life before the innocent in a great effort to protect them. Not just the Count, but the innocent of Lindo, the small children, the urchins on the street, the old woman who stumbles down the path, the cobbled street every day, knowing that the walls are watched by the town guard, knowing that safety is within the walls, and knowing that when that chaos beast or evil creatures or marauding goblins attack the town, she sleeps well at night, knowing that between her and this monstrous horde stands that formidable power, that very constitutional power, that steadfast power that is the honourable wall of the town guard. It is disappointing that you no longer wish to be part, but I understand it is not for everyone. Some people may not have the skill or the bravery or the determination to be a town's guardsman like everyone else. And he takes your piece of paper and he turns it round to you, and he says, you need to put your mark on the bottom, hand over your tabard, and then your time in the town guard will have been terminated.
As I said, it is with regret that I must do this.
There is no need for excuses, Hengist. Some people the town guard is for them, those noble fighters. For others, it is just unreachable. Your mark, please.
Angus will stoop to make his mark on the bottom of the sheet, which is sort of like a very crude drawing of a horse's head, as on his, sort of like it's enamelled onto his armour underneath.
Can you please show us what that looks like?
He takes a piece of paper and he turns it round and he goes, "Thank you."
And then he takes his tablet off and folds it and carefully places it on the captain's desk.
He calls out. He calls out and he says, "Guards!" And the two guards sort of like open the door and says, "Hengist is leaving." And they both sort of like look at each other, and he sort of like shows you to the door.
So are you something to do with Loch Ness?
I actually thought, guards, Arrest this man.
Oh, drat! I should have.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Should have done that, and then Hengist would have shown that he is truly a guardsman. Wave the guard
The flash
and
of
run away.
Bartleby wants to protect people. Maybe he should join the guard.
Who's the lady you've drawn? She looks pretty.
Okay, yeah. What would you like to do? Does anybody want to do anything before going to the count?
Can we do a Hengist montage of him walking solemnly through the streets and then meeting up with us and having a drink at the bar? Go to that place where everybody knows your name.
Yeah, that can happen. That's not a problem at all.
Gulliver wants to go back because it's been a few days since their return from Ubin Falls. Well, it's actually been over a month now because we've trained in spells, etc. He wants to go back to see his mentor, Mistress Duncan, at the Order of the Kraken, and to see whether or not she's managed to find anything out about the powders which he gave her to see whether or not she could tell what they were, because maybe we can use that information something to help us with the count.
Were these the powders that you got from
Found on
Jeremiah.
Yeah, she's figured out what they are. They're both of them are types of poison. One that would have been suitable to mix with water, and the other one that would have been suitable to make into a paste and smear onto, say, normally something like an arrowhead, and then when it's actually dried, once it's fired, it would have gone straight into the bloodstream. So one would have been sort of like ingested, and the other one was more contact, with blood, and that's what they are. Both of them very powerful poisons.
Does she know where they originate from?
Yes, she said very bad people.
As in, is it to do with? Is it sort of like plants, or is it dust from?
She's not that good. She does. Right. She can identify what they are. Their actual origins. It's nothing that she has been known to make, but she just knew it by testing it on animals and small children.
What?
Yeah. Yes, Bartleby. As you go near to the Order of Kraken, you see all these poor injured and old urchins just sort of like dead. No, that was obviously poison. Out he goes.
Terrible, hurtful science.
And there was also a blue potion that we found.
They haven't managed to figure that out yet.
Okay.
They'll need a couple more urchins for that.
Oh no!
It's getting rid of the pest problem, so that's sorted.
Yeah. Sip this.
Motion control.
How do you feel? Oh, you're dead. Okay then. Okay then. So, are you guys ready to go and see the Count?
Yeah.
Or do you want to have a chat with each other before you go?
Probably should work out what we're going to be saying.
Let's have a quick chin mug first.
A nice mug of mead or ale.
Start that 5-minute clock going.
Yeah, after that montage, we probably all should be meeting up with Hengist to see how well this little encounter went with Captain Bob.
Brave Sir Hengist.
Yeah, Gulliver's going to come up and say, "Where's your tabard?"
It's I'm no longer.
Is this at the Hairy Hobgoblin?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll just move.
It's where you go when you cry about being a priest that can't help kids.
Lost loves, leaving the guard, having no kids. Yes.
Is that Hazra's sadness, not having kids?
No, my sadness is not having a tribe.
Oh.
Maybe
We're all
tomorrow. Well,
But today, I think you're my tribe.
Oh,
Oh,
That's sweet, Azra.
I know.
I'm going to tell Amriel about that.
but does she already know?
Yes.
She does, but she appreciates me letting her know. Blessed be her name. Are we just waiting for Gulliver?
No, I'm there. I was waiting for Hengist to answer my question, but he's obviously
I'm
no.
I resigned my position in the town guard of Lindo, Gulliver. That's why I'm not wearing my my tabard.
But why do they need you? Because they're at war.
Well, I felt the pull of this particular position that we're in is more important than serving the guard at the moment.
It's very sweet of you, Angus.
Did you?
I can't look after you guys and the seeds whilst patrolling the wall all the time.
Did you manage to get us an audience with?
I did ask for that first, yes, and a message was sent before I resigned.
What did you? What did you say to tell them?
Just that we had some very important news, and we requested requested a meeting with the Count to discuss certain events and certain things that we think need to be done.
So we're going to need to convince the Count that we need to go to Matilda's tower, or at least to that other place. What was it called, Bartleby?
Silder.
Kilda.
Yeah,
So-
killed her until we get there.
Yeah. So, any ideas on how we're gonna do that?
Well, we could try and link it. Would there be a link between that and the Chaos Beast?
just while you're talking, could all four of you make perception rolls, and then carry on talking?
It's not every day Hengist beats Gulliver at a perception roll.
I mean, we could
It's not every day that Hengist beats everybody.
anybody.
Not a perception roll.
What we could.
Maybe
we
you should
could
join the
tell him
guard.
With these eyes.
Yes.
We could maybe tell him that we think that the Chaos Beast originated from there.
I mean, is that something that would have happened?
I don't know much about Chaos Beasts. I probably know about as much as you. I didn't even.
I know how they die.
You two actually said a Chaos Beast. I was going to call it a man pig, or a man cow.
The three guards at the bar let out this huge roar of laughter.
I want to look over. Are they having a good time over there, or are they laughing at somebody? Or
Angus is hearing the laughter is going to stare more deeply into his tankard.
You are on Discord, aren't you, Longshanks? Yeah. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think the. I don't know. It's almost a pity that Jeremiah didn't hail from, what's it called again, Bartleby?
Silder killed her until we get there.
Because if he did, we could say that we were maybe investigating him and trying to prove his innocence or his guilt.
The serving woman brings you some more wine or water or whatever you've ordered, and sort of like puts it down. And as she passes this guard behind you, Gulliver, this guard sort of like grabs her in a friendly arm around her waist and pulls her close and sort of like say, "Now, serving wench, Would you like to join the town guard? I am sure you have the bravery and the ability to wield a sword and follow us into battle.
Does she look like she has that kind of build?
No, and she sort of like pushes them away and says, "Don't be so stupid. I'm a servant lady." Well, you'll be surprised what's trying to get into the guard nowadays. And they let out a huge guffaw of laughter.
I'm finding it very hard to concentrate with. Do you know those people, Hengist?
I did.
Before you left, were they letting in a bunch of strange servant ladies?
No, I believe it is a jest at my expense.
Oh!
And the penny drops for Baltimore.
For I am,
That's not very nice of them, then, is it?
no, but as far as I'm aware, I am the first to request to leave the guard, as opposed to being asked to leave due to death or maiming.
So is that the only way to leave the guard? Is by death or maiming?
Maiming.
Maiming.
Yes, Gulliver, it is.
Well, no, you could ask to leave because otherwise Hengist would be dead or missing an arm.
At which point, Hengist just goes clunk from the neck. No.
Well,
Amriel knows he made the right choice, at least, Hengist.
I think it's very honourable you leaving to fulfil our quest.
Thank you, Gulliver. I know that to be true as well, although I couldn't give that as a reason.
One of the guards suddenly starts to talk with a really large voice, and so it says, "No, the guard." They're obviously been drinking somewhat. They're not on duty, but they still are quite obviously guardsmen. And it's like, "No, the guardsman. The guard is not for anyone. You know, if you don't have the guts and the bravery and the skill, then there's miles other jobs you can do, like serving food." And one of them they also like burst out laughing, and somebody else says, "Or sweeping floors," and they sort of like burst out laughing again, or emptying the bedpan. And they all sort of like guffaw with laughter again.
Gulliver's had enough now, so he's going to stand up, sort of like almost too
Hengist.
quickly, and his chair's going to sort of like topple back.
Yeah.
And he's gonna turn round to him and say, "You're wrong about Hengist. Hengist has more bravery than all of you put together. I've seen him fight giant scorpions and painted men, and I've seen him fighting a multi-armed stone.
Hey!
And I've seen him fight a woman that can't be killed, and he kept on fighting her even though she couldn't be killed. And in the end, it was up to me to kill her."
And little man, please do not get so upset. We understand
Well, you obviously don't know what you're talking about at all.
that
You just think that just because somebody doesn't want to do something anymore, it doesn't mean that they're not brave.
you are a brave lad to fight battles for other people. We respect that in you, mister. Well done for coming and, telling us and standing up for us.
Well, maybe you should take your conversation to the other end of the bar, because we're trying to have a conversation on how to save the world here, and I can't think with you making so much noise.
Of course, little man, you are. Of course. We meant no disrespect to you, but you are a powerful ally to fight on behalf of your colleague. We will move further down the bar. and they sort of like laugh, and they turn away. Gulliver, as they move away from you, you hear them saying, "Fancy sending a boy to shout at us." As they move down, and they congregate further down the bar in what appears to be a small huddle.
Gulliver's going to pick up his chair and sort of like put it, and then he's going to who's behind the bar? Is it?
It's Basil.
He's going to look toward Basil, and he's going to say, "Sorry about that, Basil." And he's going to.
He sort of like looks around as if something's happened that he's missed, and he sort of like says, "No worries at all, no worries." He sort of like counts all his glasses, all his tankards, and thinks, "Oh, what's going on here?" Okay.
Angus is going to turn to Gulliver and say, "Thank you, Gulliver. I had no idea you thought so much of me."
I just find it really hard to concentrate on. when
Well, there's that too.
Going on, and we've got important things to discuss. And
okay, so it's the next morning when you've been summoned to the Count. So you're arranged. You need to meet him at 10 o'clock, roughly, and so you. Hessaret and Hengist, you will hang out now in the Hairy Hobgoblin. Gulliver and Bartleby, of course, you can go back to your orders where you'll get the free board and lodgings. And you arrive at 10 o'clock the next morning ready to gain an audience with the Count. And of course, you know where their castle is. You've been there before. I'll just pop you onto the map, so just to remind you. So if you remember, you actually come across this bridge here, and then if you remember, there's a small room just off by that tower, and then the main throne room backs on here. That's where the big windows are that back onto Lindo, and it's you sort of like set off, and you sort of like go through, and right the way through across the over the bridge, and every time you pass some town guard or anything, rumour and news has obviously spread quite quickly, and you can hear muttering, and several of the guardsmen sort of like actually slightly turn to one side, so they don't actually face you, Hengist. It's almost as if they're putting their back to you. They don't do it so they would be off guard, off guard duty, but almost as if they're not prepared to even look at you as you proceed through. And when you actually get to the main building, you're not actually taken to the throne room as you imagined you would be. You're taken to what appears to be the Count's personal chambers. And if you remember the throne room from last time, if you remember that there is in it, I'll just bring you onto it so you can, just to remind you of it. If you remember there's a door down here. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's where. Say again, sorry.
Oh no, sorry. It was my roll 20.
It just takes a while to. And you're taken from that door, and if you remember, there was a series of corridors, etc., etc. Gulliver, when you ported the Count through there, and that actually leads to what appears to be a rather spacious chamber. There's no additional doors in this room, but there seems to be one big, huge room with a huge fire in it, and various rugs, etc., on the floor. And it does look like these rugs have been moved recently, and they're not sort of like dead aligned across the floor. And you also notice that there's various seating arrangements in there, and then off to one side you can see that there's almost like a gap in the wall that actually goes onto the bedroom. And you do notice as you enter it that it looks like the doors have been taken off to the bedroom. So it would be impossible for anybody to get locked inside or locked outside. There are doors to the main chamber, and you're sort of like brought in by Captain Bobbin, and sort of like comes in, and he sort of like he addresses you all and says, the Count is on his way. And lo and behold, a couple of minutes later, the Count walks in with two of his guards. If you remember, he has his own honorary guards with him, and he sort of like arrives into the room, and he looks incredibly. He looks very tired, almost like fraught. About the whole he almost like looks as if he's aged over the past few days or months, and he sort of like comes in and he sort of like looks at you four and gives out almost like a noticeable sigh, and he sort of goes and he says, "You requested an audience with me."
In the 2 minutes in between us being in there and the Count coming in, Gulliver's going to have been practicing his bow.
Oh yes, yeah.
And soon as the Count speaks, he's once again going to try to perform it.
Yeah, cool. Go for it.
To the best of his ability. What is it?
Courtesy roll.
Yeah, I didn't have a courtesy roll.
What did I use last time? Because I know I used something that wasn't. Was it bureaucracy that you allowed?
Customs,
Yeah.
I think.
Customs.
Yep.
Customs.
Wow.
No, well, my customs is 73, so that can't be. Oh, that was the old one. Did I use double dexterity?
Yeah, something like that. Quite welcome to use that.
So that's I rolled a 1d100, and I've got to get. I think it's something like 28 or
No, it's your intelligence times 2.
intelligence. Yeah, so 28.
Yeah. Yeah, you sort of like make your normal mess of it, and stick a foot out that actually hits Bartleby on the leg. As you sort of like do it, and the Count just sort of like looks at you, almost like in dismay, and sort of says, "You requested an audience." And you have nothing to say.
I thought my computer had frozen.
Gulliver's going to step forward, and he's going to say, "Your Highness, we believe that we might have information and a lead, which we want with your permission to investigate. It does concern the attack on your throne room."
Please explain quickly and to the point.
We want your permission to investigate it, but we need you to order the Kraken to teleport us to an area of Lindo, an area of Odis using the mage.
Sorry, I was under the impression that you were a member of this order.
I am.
I know that some people have decided that orders are not for them, and that they are better off leaving. And have you two left your order? And he turns to you, Bartleby. And do you no longer follow the teachings of Amriel?
No, Count Bastion, I would never.
No, sir. I, as you can see from my mark, I am but an apprentice in the in the Order of the Kraken. I have been with them no more than.
And has the order refused you travel?
To be honest with you, I haven't approached them.
Would this not have been a better situation before calling on my services?
Well, I don't know. Would I have been better off going to them? I thought maybe you would.
So you wish, and tell me, what is it that you are investigating?
Well, we're investigating the beast that attacked your throne room. We have reason to believe that maybe it was something to do with something known as wild magic. And there is a sorcerer or sorceress who was rumored to be a wielder of such magic, and although.
Please tell me, why is it that you are not sharing this with your order?
Well, I'm sorry, but I thought we with us actually helping you and
I understand.
And doing your bidding. That
I understand completely. You share the suspicion that I share. I thought it was only a suspicion, but now coming from one of its own, I can see that it is miles more than a suspicion. You did well to come and ask me this. He does a click of his finger and almost like a door opens. Well, the door doesn't open itself. One of the guardsmen just opens it without looking, and a servant comes running in and goes up to the count. The count leads down and whispers something into the servant's ear, and the servant sort of like bows and goes off.
I don't suppose I could hear what was said, could I?
No. And you can make a perception roll if you get. It would have to be probably very
Herculean.
No, not that much. It's probably formidable. And he sort of like says, he told them to go off. His exact word was, "It is as I expected. Please write the order for these people."
Please
write the order for these people. And he sort of like goes off, and he sort of like stands there, and he sort of like just spends his time looking at each one of you in turn as he looks around. And within a few minutes, the same servant comes dashing back, and with a folded up piece of paper that is just folded into thirds, and it has a huge almost like bit of melted wax on that has obviously just been melted onto it. And the person sort of like brings it up to the count, and the count takes a ring off his finger and presses it in to the wax, and he hands it over to you, Gulliver, and he says, "Do not break the seal. It carries my seal. This will tell you your order to allow you access to anything and everything that you desire under the order of the Count Bastian. Please do not lose it."
Thank you, my liege.
And he just sort of like turns and walks out the door, and the guards sort of like follow him, and the door gets shut behind. And at that point, we will take our first break.
As he goes out, Gulliver's going to look to the other ones, and he's going to say, think I might be in trouble when we get back.
Okay, so people watching the stream will just have a quick 10 minutes or thereabouts of a break, and then we will be back straight after it. So please do go off, grab yourself a drink, stretch your legs, and we will be back in roughly about 10. So don't go away. I've been thinking about a design for my channel. You have to remember, I'm not an artist or a creative person. I have the programs, but not the expertise. I don't have the money to hire a graphic or concept designer, or to take the time off work to attend art classes or creative retreats. So I had to come up with something myself. It had to represent my channel and me. It had to be easy and yet adaptable. And so, after much thought and crunches up of pieces of paper, I came up with the following design. It's not detailed. It's not graphically stunning. It's not colourful. It's not complex. It's simple because it reflects me and my skills. What is it? Well, to represent me in Wills, it's just an eye.
Let's not keep the masses waiting.
Yes, we are back. So, guys, just to let you know, pretty soon, hopefully, you might be leaving Lindo, and rather than having a huge amount of time people searching through equipment lists, I'm going to say at one point, I'm going to say, right, you equip yourself to go on the journey, and then we leave. So if you, between now and the next time we play, if you make sure that you update your equipment list, get anything that you need to get, etc., etc., rather than us spending time in tonight's adventure, so like going through equipment lists and buying things, we'll just do it sort of like in the downtime, and then that'll be it. Okay, so I think we've got to the point that Gulliver, you've got almost like some permission or something to take to your order. So I presume that all four of you are going to be heading down there, and you're going to approach your mentor.
Yeah. So Gulliver is holding this bit of parchment. He doesn't put it away.
Yeah.
He's holding it right the way from being handed to the Count.
Yeah.
Right the way up to making sure that he doesn't hold it too tightly, and his sweaty hands sort of like
Got you. Yeah. Melt the wax.
Melt the wax and the seal, but he's not going to put it away because he was told to take care of it.
Yeah. And as you sort of like go through, you do notice that people are sort of like looking at it and recognize it, you know, as this important piece of paper, and you sort of like quite proudly go through, and there's quite a bit of muttering going on in the crowd, and a few sort of like noise.
As Gulliver sees people sort of like taking notice of it, and he's holding it, he's sort of like, he'll start sort of like walking a bit more,
taller,
a bit taller, and if people sort of like get in his, sort of like get in his way, he'll start very quietly by just saying, "Excuse me," and then in the end, it's almost like, "Excuse me, official Count business."
Yeah, and they sort of like step out your way as you lead yourself to the order, and you pass some town's guardsmen on the way, and women, and they do the usual. They either stare or they turn their backs as Hengist sort of like walks past them, and you eventually get to your order. And what is the plan that you would like to do, Gulliver? Or anybody, yeah.
I mean, Gulliver doesn't know many people within the order.
Yeah, but you with your seal, I mean, you can go to the highest person if you wish.
No, he's going to.
I think it's a sorcerer called Madison, who's actually the leader of your order in Lindo.
He's going to trust in his mentor, Danielle Duncan, and that's who he's going to go to.
Yeah, and you sort of like go to her and you produce the order from the Count, and you actually see her sort of like look quite shocked, and she reads it and she looks at you. And she reads it and she looks at you again. Every time her head comes up, her brow gets crosser and crosser. And then in the end she says, "You know, Gulliver, you could have come to us rather than informing the Count that there could be treachery within the order, and to give you our full cooperation to wherever or whatever you need under the order of the Count."
I'm sorry, Mistress Duncan, but to be honest with you,
So, what is it that you wish, Master Gulliver?
We need to. We need.
Stop mumbling and tell us.
we need use of the magical portals, in particular the one that goes to.
Off on some jaunt, are we? To some sunny clime to top up your tan.
No, actually.
And she says, "Follow me."
We want.
And she sort of like goes up. She wears full blue robes as she moves down the corridor. And you also like start to walk with her down this huge corridor, and at the far end is the door that you've all seen before. It's because you know behind that is the portal room, and you're sort of like walking down, and all of a sudden there's just sort of like a massive splash of water in front of you, and you suddenly realise that she's at the door, and she sort of like turns around and says, "In your own time," and opens the door and walks in and stands in front of the portal. Your location you wish to go to?
The mage tower of Matilda near the town of.
What? The what tower?
The mage tower.
Of whom?
The sorceress Matilda.
There is no such sorcerer.
Sorceress.
Is there a portal to Advent?
You wish to go to Advent? Well, who is this sorcerer Matilda?
Sorceress.
No, they have no binary gender names in.
Bartleby believes there is.
Yeah. You suddenly get this feeling, Gulliver, that she doesn't actually know of the portal. And remember, you actually had to do research in the library to actually find out who this sorcerer was. And it is quite possible that she doesn't know. She sort of like instructs you to sit down, and she goes off. And almost like half an hour, 45 minutes later, they bring in, and I say they bring in because they seem to be almost like carrying this very old, you're not too sure whether or not it's a man or woman. They are bent over double almost, and they got sort of like dirty blue robes on and long grey hair, and they sort of like hobble with like two walking sticks and arms underneath their armpits, and they're sort of like adjusted and brought along to the portal, and you hear almost like this husky voice coming from beneath the straggly grey hair, and you hear the voice, and it just sort of says, "So you want to go to Matilda's tower?"
Yes, sir. And Gulliver's just hoped that he's guessed right.
And the guy goes, "Well, good luck with that." And he seems to make some gestures and some words that are hardly audible. And you notice that the portal changes from its concentric blue, pale blue circles. It shimmers for a while and becomes like a pool of water. And just as it becomes a pool of water, you do notice that the old person sort of like sags somewhat, as if they've exercised a huge amount of power. And then he says, or she says, they just say, "It is open."
Thank you.
And as you step towards it, Gulliver, you notice your mentor says, "He was the only person in the order who knew of this sorcerer's tower. I really do hope, Gulliver, you know what you are getting yourselves into. This," and she holds up the piece of paper with the Count seal on, "will definitely be reported to Madison. and with a flourish, she just sort of like turns and walks out, almost like barging past the old person with the two apprentices helping him out or her out, and just like disappears.
Hengist will lean towards Bartleby and say, I think for both our Gulliver and my sake, we need to come out of this smelling like roses.
You already smell like roses, Hengist.
Oh, good grief!
Must be. I tell you what it is. It's that beautiful steam house that's around the corner from Basil's.
I didn't know there was a steam house. What? I must have been at the order when you guys all went. Dang it.
All right, Hengist.
Make sure we invite you next time.
Thanks.
Should we go through first to make sure the road's clear?
I think so. Hengist says, and then he immediately steps through the portal.
Maybe draw your sword first and put on your shield, and maybe a protection spell from Bartleby wouldn't go amiss. We've no idea what's going to be through that portal. It hasn't been used in a long time, and you're just going to step through it.
Hengist is gone.
It was a door? Are you mad?
My spear's always in my hand.
That's a good point, Gulliver. I probably should have prayed on him before he left.
So Hengist drops into the pool of water.
Hessaret?
Yep. I'm next. I've gone with him. Yes, as he went, I went.
Okay.
Well, now who am I going to protect with Amriel's light? Gulliver?
Protect the hero, Gulliver.
I put my hand on Gulliver's head and pray for Amriel to protect him from the unholy abominations that will wildly wander through the tower that we're going to.
Gulliver's going to say, Master Healy always used to tell me that fools rush in where sensible men fear to tread.
Yeah, well, roll your folk magic, isn't it? That's coming off.
By the power of the Lighter of Lights, I say, you will be protected.
Oh,
Nice. Critical roll. So be a critical spellcast. So what I'm going to say for that is that you actually don't take, I think you don't take any drain from that. Is that right? Or is it halved?
I never remember this.
I know from my sorcery, I know my sorcery spells, it's different than using...
Hang on, I've got it here, don't I?
Critical.
It's different from sorcery, though, I know.
0, so he gets no... He takes
no, you don't lose any drain. Yeah.
Yeah, and I get 20 points of armor in all locations.
Yeah. Yeah, so Gulliver and Bartleby, you bless Gulliver before you go in, and then you all transfer yourselves through the water. And remember, you've travelled by portal before, and you know and you recognise as you all step in that it can lead you very disorientated when you come out the other end. So could you please all make for me as you step in a endurance check.
Oh, endurance, you say? Who's got that?
Bartleby, look at you.
Look at Bartleby coming in there.
Why does it have to be endurance?
Because I'm a tough Bartleby.
Do you wish to... so, Hengist, you are fine. Bartleby, you are fine. Hengist, do you wish to use a point of luck?
No.
Okay, so you increase your fatigue level by 1. Gulliver, do you wish to use a point of luck?
I do indeed, because although he comes out feeling really sick and disorientated, he doesn't want the others to know. So he's going to use a point of luck to
cool. So so you are not fatigued, and you pass through the portal almost like that shaft of water, and you're almost like regurgitated out of the other end, and there's a brief flash of blue, and then you're landed on something that touches and feels like hard concrete floor.
Is it dark where we are?
It certainly Well,
Gulliver's going to wonder whether or not it definitely looks dark on my screen.
I was just, I figured we might have accidentally teleported to a place where there was no lights, or like in the basement of a tower.
well, if you remember, Gulliver was saying that it's normally underground, and if you're probably underground and hundreds of years, and you're consequently plunged into darkness, you can hear the other people around you.
Can I feel for one of my candles and begin praying on my candle?
Yeah, by all means.
Feeling that candle.
Gulliver's going to say, I wonder whether or not you can take flames through one of the portals.
Be interesting to see with the water you use.
I'd like to use a point of luck.
Okay, yeah, so you use a point of luck and you light your candle.
By Amriel's light, we can see, perhaps. Oh, it's so warm, so waxy.
Let me just... I'm just getting your light on for you.
Have you guys ever seen anything as beautiful as this candle?
It's lucky that you had it, because otherwise we would have been in complete darkness. If you just give me a second, I'll get a torch from my backpack, and then we can maybe see better. Because although it's a very nice candle, it doesn't really provide much light.
Right, hang on. You should start. You should start to see Bartleby's light.
Yes.
I don't know what you said, Gulliver. You should get a torch lit, though, because this candle is so beautiful.
Would you like me to light my lantern?
Oh, that would be better than my torch, because my torch doesn't last for very long, and I only have one.
So I'll light my lantern and give it to Bartleby. Would you be able to hold this for me so my hands are free?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you need your hands free for praying?
No. I'll just put out my candle and take that lantern from you, and in my other hand I'll have a club.
Okay, so the lantern gives you 9 meters of light.
Now I'm not distracted by that darn candle.
Yeah, so you should be able to start seeing something now at the edge of some of your light.
What in the world?
Are they chickens?
No.
Oh
you,
my gosh!
You think that there's something? They seem to be hanging from the ceiling. And as the light emanates from Bartleby's, from Hessaret's lantern that Bartleby's has lit, you notice that this one over here that you can see sort of like readjusts itself and sort of like turns itself almost like slightly away.
Angus is going to slowly and quietly draw his sword just in case.
I want to shift towards Hengist as smoothly as I can.
The portal is now shut, by the way.
Good. Once I'm next to Hengist, I want to start whispering in his ear, putting my club hand on his back.
Yeah, but you should be able to move your characters.
Okay, I just want to make sure I was allowed by you, just in case anything happens. Praying that your blade is sharper than the light that comes down from the moon.
Yeah, nice.
So it's the place that we're in. It's obviously a square chamber. Are these part of the ceiling that have fallen down?
Yeah, they seem to be, and here as well. They appear to be like bits of the ceiling, maybe bits of the wall. You can see that there's various exits from this central room, and the first thing that you do notice as soon as you get the light on, that the first thing that really sort of like hits you is almost like how stale the air is. It seems very still. There seems to be no movement of the air in here. You also notice that there's quite a formidable smell, that almost like it's that smell of decay and rot. You notice that there's various chunks of the ceiling above you. It hasn't broken through the ceiling. It just seems to be chunks of rock that has fallen down. You notice that there's no dust or anything on the floor or anything like that. But you do notice that there's the only sound you can hear now and again is almost like from within the corner, from like over here and over here and over here, is almost like a almost like a bit of a flap and a readjusting, but it's quite loud. It seems to be echoing around the whole cavern. You do notice that down on the floor around your feet there seems to be various bits of bone, small mammal bone maybe, and you notice that on the two piles of rocks there tends to be quite a bit of guano there as well, bird poo.
All right.
Stave off my interest from this. Guano.
Gulliver, isn't there supposed to be somebody here?
This portal hasn't been used for ages. That's why they had to find that really old man too.
Over 100 years.
But shouldn't there be like evidence that's like a station or something where somebody would stay here, right? When it was operational?
Would there be a guardian?
If you remember in Nubian Falls, it was in a separate room, Bartleby. But I think this portal's probably been abandoned because of, well, Matilda wasn't. I don't think she was a nice person.
Your mistress isn't very nice either.
I think that's more.
Mistress Duncan's okay.
I think that's more.
Say that she's not
anger.
nice. I don't really think this is the place that we should be discussing this. I think maybe we should look at getting out of here and maybe working our way up, and then we can have the discussion on how nice my mistress is.
Okay, I'm sorry to offend you. Let's keep going.
Question is, which way?
Well, let's keep away from the noises.
Let's go north. And Gulliver will point down this corridor.
Angus will slowly stride up that way then.
I will cover the rear.
I'll step on this shiny spot.
Yeah, so as Bartleby sort of like brings the light in, you can see that to the left of you, Hengist, as you stand in here, you can see that there's more of these like bats hanging from the ceiling. What you have to imagine that, even though there's just 2 tokens there, imagine that each one of those tokens is 5 to 10 of the bats. And they, as you come closer, and you get the light sort of like shines in, they sort of like turn away from it, and you get this feeling. Bartleby, roll your monster roll for me, please.
Bring in that monster knowledge, and right there.
Yeah, as Hengers moves up, you suddenly sort of like pull him back slightly, and you sort of like whisper to the party that there seems to be bats of some description, and anything like light or sound or movement might disturb them. And bats do have a tendency of swarming.
Gulliver's going to tap Hengist on the back.
Angus will half turn round.
And Gulliver's going to point in just to his right.
Angus will start moving carefully and slowly in that direction.
The light man is going to go around, kind of moving like this a little bit till I can get to right here. I didn't want to walk directly and step on that shiny bit.
No, that's fine. You can see that you can see what you can see. Hengist, it seems like a corridor leaving the room.
Angus will carefully approach the entrance way and sort of peep around to see if you can see anything else, like any more of these bats or anything.
Well, yeah, currently you can see what you can see because I think you're limited by Bartleby's light.
Yeah, and
moves.
Bartleby is going to go up against the wall and slink over to right here, holding the lantern a little bit further than I am, so that I might not necessarily be able to see around that corner, but hopefully he can get that light.
You can see that there's a set of stairs that go up.
Angus will,
He'll
motion upwards.
On his back again.
Angus will turn around, and at the same time he's pointing upwards.
Gulliver's going to go.
Angus will carefully start walking up the stairs until to the edge of the light.
Slinking around to help my buddies.
Each time.
Yeah. So
that's a wall.
So as the light fills up the area before you, you notice that there's been like a cave in, and these are a set of stairs going up, and it looks like the roof and maybe some of the walls, etc., have caved in, and there's been a collapse. You do notice. Just make a perception roll for me, Hengist.
Oh, Hengist is fatigued.
Yeah, he is.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I meant sorry. Bartleby, Gulliver, and Hengist, could you make insight rolls for me, please?
Insight. Because we're inside. Bartleby doesn't get it. That joke.
Yeah. Hengist, you notice that this corridor has collapsed in a series of stages. So it looks like there was a big one, and then it slowly has dropped down over the years. And you can see up at the top, there's now soil rather than rock, as if a bit fell down, but there might have still been an entrance out, and then more has come down and more has come down, and now the whole exit up these stairs is actually completely and utterly blocked.
Angus is going to whisper and say, "There's no way out this way."
Well, that's not good. Not at all.
What's underneath all the rubble? Does it look like it's stairs going up?
Stairs going up, yeah.
Maybe they had another set of stairs.
We'll have to hope that.
There's surely somewhere, or maybe I should lower my voice a little bit. There's surely somewhere where these bats have gotten in. Bats like to go out and hunt at night.
Hengist, this is when you almost like, when Bartleby says that, you it coincides with what you saw and the rubble coming down over a series of landslides. So you think it might have actually been open at one time for the bats to go in and out, but since then it's collapsed. And just when that dawns on you, you suddenly do notice in the rubble some decayed bats that just seem to be like bones now, almost like trapped underneath some of the rubble.
I think I think they used this way as well before it's had the final cave in.
Maybe we can go back through the portal.
Well, there's a couple of other doorways we haven't tried yet. We might have another way out.
Yeah, I think we better stay optimistic, even despite the stale air in here. I mean, what else can we do? Gulliver, do you know how to activate the portal?
That's the thing. Right? I mean, but beforehand, I had a stone that Mistress Duncan gave me, and that allowed me to communicate with her, and they opened the portal from the other side.
You still have that, right? I remember that little rock.
No, I don't.
That's a shame. That is a darn shame. Let's explore a little more. Let's see if we can't wake up a few bats in the process. I kid. Let's not do that. The bat part.
No, but on the plus side, if we need food, we've got it here.
Well, surely there must be another way out, because otherwise wouldn't all the other bats be dead?
Unless they're eating each other, which would make them even more batty.
Cannibal bats. Do not fear, though, because I'm Batman.
I think that's the thing with animals. It doesn't take a lot before they start to become very cannibalistic.
I'm doing it now. It's fine.
Bartleby is gonna back out of this area, moving kind of next to Hessaret to try and urge the rest of my cohorts.
One side and.
What about over here, guys?
Gulliver will see that Hengist is sort of like hanging back, and he'll put his hand on his shoulder and say, "Don't be frightened, Hengist. They're only bats."
It's alright, Gully. As long as we keep quiet, they won't wake up.
I just thought maybe you were hanging back because you didn't like bats.
There are a few things I'm afraid of in this life, but bats is not one of them, Gully.
I'm not going to lie. There's something that I'm afraid of.
Is it bats, Gulliver?
No, pigeons.
Oh, those are vile creatures.
So what are you planning on doing apart from standing in the corner chatting away?
Just waiting for Hengist.
Bartleby is gonna move down a little bit, kind of like right here, then move across to about here, moving downward. Stop me if anything's happening in the meantime. And then once I'm down at this angle, then I'd go straight to this wall and make my way down.
Okay, so Bartleby, you lead the party across, and as you come across, you can tell that this room and this room and this room were all I'll just see what Hessaret and Hessaret, this room all appear to be full of these bats. They all seem to be hanging from the ceiling, and you notice that as you start to move around, they're becoming a lot more agitated. When you first arrived, there was a couple of them moving. Now as the light goes in and out and you've been talking, you notice that a lot more of them are moving, and in the background you can hear almost a slight chattering, so like
Okay, and I was just going to put his fingers in and go, shh.
Bartleby's going to take off his tunic or shirt and put it kind of around the lantern to try and dim the light a little bit, and sit down here while not saying anything, so I guess I can't share my plan. But also just...
Okay, Gulliver's going to squeeze past down here, and he's going to start heading up towards the
That doesn't follow, because you've actually I don't think you were saying beforehand, that you didn't seem to be very comfortable in this environment. That's what it seemed when you were up at the top. So are you suddenly becoming more confident and powerful now, or are you going to?
No, he was more on the thing that it's time. He didn't want to be down here any longer.
Angus is gonna.
I think you can voice that, Gulliver, and say, Gulliver says, I don't think we should waste our time down here. We really need to get out as soon as possible.
Yeah, but he didn't want to make any more noise, because the noise seemed to be...
Yeah, you can whisper it. That's absolutely fine.
I was just going to motion to Bartleby and be like, bring it back towards him so we can move further on. And we'll slowly move.
We need to let them calm down. And Angus doesn't smell like roses anymore.
Well, no.
We need to
Rest.
Does sitting there with my shirt around the lantern, does that seem to calm them down a bit, or is the flittering and chattering increasing, staying the same?
No, I mean, as you sort of all settle and stand very, very still for a period of time, the bats do seem to sort of settle down more, and they sort of become a lot quieter.
Would that take about what was it? 8 minutes or so?
Yeah.
Your mic's open.
We're going to
Hang on, because we got
BBC. Go to BC. It's free.
Medivac. Do you want to mute your mic? Yeah, sorry, Bartleby. What was that?
I was wondering if this time that we're sitting out, would this be enough to fulfill that need for Hengist's fatigue?
How long?
Oh, Hengist.
Yeah.
Hengist has a 0.08 rest time.
Did I ask you guys to?
Yeah, you said multiply it by...
I can never remember what it is.
Yeah, I put it in 2 adventures ago. If you, instead of saying, if you multiply by 60 and then put it somewhere on your character sheet so you know the actual minutes, it's in the Mithras announcements if anybody needs it. And then we rather than me trying to work it out every time, we've just got that information available to us.
Just under 5 minutes.
Okay, so yeah, so if you want to, is that the idea, that you want to sit and wait for 5 minutes?
Maybe more, as long as it's 7 minutes or something to get those bats settled down.
Yeah, okay then. So you all sort of sit around for 5, maybe even 10 minutes, and the bats slowly sort of settle back down, and everything seems to return to normal.
I'm gonna put my shirt back on then. And then I guess we'll continue. I'll shift down this way a little bit, bumping into Hessaret intentionally.
I'll move gently out the way for you to go past me.
Angus is waiting in the doorway.
Okay, a lot of fear peering around the corner with the lantern.
Yeah, you'll need to actually come into the.
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah, there. Okay, stop there. That's cool. So, Hengist, you can see that this is a corridor going north, and the corridor also comes round this side as well. But you also notice that there's an entrance here, and there's an entrance here, and you can see that there's also bats hanging in those rooms.
So Angus has still got his sword out in one hand, but he's gonna turn around to Bartleby, point towards the direction of the doorway that has the bats, and he's gonna make a fluttering motion with his hand, one-handed, kind of like half a butterfly, sort of thing.
I'll mirror that, but with my club hand. So I just point and then flop my club over a little bit to the others, not back to Hengist. He already knows.
Hengist, do you just have your sword out then and not your shield?
Yeah, at the moment.
Okay, cool.
He's gonna try moving north very quietly a little bit. And he's going to turn when he notices the light isn't following him, and he's going to look and then sort of like wait patiently.
I'm moving directly across the hall, and then putting myself flat against the wall, like so.
I'm going to motion to Gulliver to go ahead of me.
There's no bats down here.
Hengist is going to turn and with his offhand go point, and then he's going to make the fluttering motion again. He's going to point at this doorway.
And the one below, yeah, as well. There are two separate doorways, so there's one here and one here, and both of them have bats in.
Oh, both of them have bats in. Okay.
Yep.
He's going to point at both and then go.
I'm going to point with my club down here and up here to try and up here. Oh man, I'm having a hard time pointing, I guess, with a look of not knowing which direction to go.
I'm going to point south because if there's bats in the rooms to the left, we should really head away and just have a look. Have you looked around this corner down here yet?
No, nobody's looked down there.
Okay, so if we kind of...
I want to make sure Hengist sees that we're moving down there, and once he's seen that, then I'll make my way around this corner.
Hessaret, when you come round the corner, you can see that the corridor just sort of like turns round, and I'm just moving Bartleby a bit. Can you see it comes to a dead end?
Oh, dead end, right.
Gotcha.
Okay. Is this a door here? Is that a door there, or just dead end?
It's just a dead end.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I'll motion. Yeah, and go back.
Hengist is going to slowly creep past these doorways.
Okay, what's the Hengist? You just stay there now. Bartleby, Gulliver, and Hessaret, what are you planning on doing?
I'm going to tap Bartleby on the shoulder and make a motion like this over the lantern.
It took me a second. Let's see, I gotta have something better than my shirt to be putting on this. Do I have a blanket?
Oil.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't have anything better to do this. So yeah, I guess I will remove my shirt slowly again and kind of wrap it around the lantern in a way that hopefully it won't catch on fire or get overheated. But so that I can kind of maybe a little bit control, obviously not too much, but control how much light's emitting. Or
Well, you don't have to put it over. You can just drape it over your arm so it blocks one side, can't you? Do you know what I mean?
I do, as you said that, but I didn't think of that.
Sorry.
After you tap me again, Bartleby's going to do that. That would be much easier. Yeah. Okay. And these nomads, they have knowledge. And then with that, I'm going to... Oh, yeah, that's nice and dampened. I'm going to move towards this wall above Gulliver and make my way to catch up with... Hengist, stop me or pull me back.
To follow close behind.
Okay, so at that point, could you all for me make stealth rolls?
Oh, dear.
Just to let you know, these are different difficulty depending on the armour that you're actually wearing. So I'll talk about that in a second once you've all rolled your stealth.
90.
I'm wearing armor made of noise. I am.
Yeah, okay then. So as you sort of like... have I got everybody's? Yeah, so does anybody wish to use luck on any of these?
I don't think luck's going to help on... apart from me.
Okay, so you sort of
probably.
like you do want to use luck, did you say?
Yeah, Hengist will. Can I reverse it? So I have a 9.
Yeah, so cross cross off your luck point. As you move up, Hengist, you do quite a good job of being quiet, but then the three behind you are not. And they sort of like move up, and it's like you do silly things. So Bartleby, at one point your lantern hits the stone wall, or Gulliver, at one point you trip and sort of like bash into Bartleby, goes sorry.
At every point that one of those silly noises made, Hengist is going to half pause, turn around, and frown at everyone.
Yeah, and then Hessaret, you're moving along, and you sort of like your shaft gets caught in between your legs or something, and you stumble, and all of a sudden there's this amount of noise, and you all hear this huge flapping from the two entrances opposite you, and you just see these bats drop down from the ceiling, and as they drop down from the ceiling, they open their wings and come flying out. Now, can I please remind you that each one of these tokens is 5 to 10 bats, okay? So they all sort of like flying out. I'll just move that one up a bit.
So how big are they?
Okay, they look slightly bigger than a normal bat, and they seem to be they almost like have almost like a bird-like head, and you notice that they have rather long bills or beaks on them, and the rest of their body is more bat-like and very sort of like leathery skin. They're only about, if you're looking at the thing, they're only about this, big. They're not like this.
Including wingspan.
Yeah, they're literally sort of like this big as they fly down, and they fly down towards you, and there's a lot of clicking, and they sort of like start to fling themselves at you. Now, there's no need to roll for initiative because you will go before each one of them. Okay, so but I hang on, yeah, roll your initiative, because then I can see who's actually going first out of all of you. Cool.
We almost got an order this time. Almost.
Yeah, so Hessaret, you're up first as these sort of like 10 of these bats come flying towards you.
I'm going to hold my action because they might be living in the wild, you tend to find this with animals. Sometimes they will fly towards you and then fly off somewhere else to settle. So I'm going to hold my action just to see what happens with them, to see if they do come into attack.
Okay, Bartleby, what would you like to do?
Eyes growing wide. I'm gonna and losing my voice. I'm gonna desperately try and pray to Amriel to protect me from this herd of evil, pulling this kind of nonsense and rolling this kind of nonsense.
Yeah, is that going on? That's going on you, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you now have some protection over you as the light of Amriel shines down on you and put into protection. Hengist, you're up.
If he has time, he wants to try and ready his shield. If there's no time, then he's going to try and step in between the bulk of the bats and Bartleby.
You can do either or. It's completely up to you.
No, he's probably going to step in between him and Bartleby.
Okay.
My hero.
And Gulliver.
Gulliver's seen these bats or whatever they are. Is going to sort of like put his hand on his head, stop them sort of like getting tangled up into his hair, and he's going to say, "Run!" And he's going to start heading in this direction.
Okay. So that's your actions done. So here comes the bats. Sorry. What they appear to be doing is almost like trying to get a handle on you, trying to sort of like gain purchase on you. So what's going to happen is that they roll as one. So each token is like 5 to 10 bats, but they don't make 5 to 10 rolls. They just make one roll to see how, and then if one, each token makes a roll. So if one is successful, then it actually attaches 5 to 10 bats on you, and so forth and so on. You can, if you wish, parry your roll, parry the attack, or you can evade the attack if you still got action points left for the turn. Okay, so Hessaret, this is yours first. So I'm going from the bottom up. So you have 2 on you. And yeah, so the bottom one actually comes in, and they are actually going to attach onto you. Do you wish to parry or evade?
I will be parrying.
Okay, so that will be your first action point taken up. So yeah, so roll your combat skill.
Why can I not see my combat skill? Sorry, just bear with me. Oh, there we go. Sorry.
Yeah, and you get higher than me, so that's fine. So you parry. Oh no, what's your weapon?
It's my spear.
I need
So
to know.
kind of-
I need to know the size of it.
Size of it. Sorry, it is. Short spear is size medium.
Medium.
Reach is long.
Yeah. So you sort of like come in, and these have only got a small bite size. So as they try to get purchase on you, you bash away the first lot with whirling your spear backwards and forwards. This is the second lot of tokens coming to you. They all miss as they whirl around. Okay. This is now the other 4 lots of tokens coming to you. So I'm starting at the bottom. That one misses. Second one misses. Third one misses. And fourth one misses. So do you wish to parry any of the blows? No. Okay, so they all sort of like come down, and they're sort of like fly around, and they're trying to find that purchase on you, but can't find something as suitable to sort of like hook onto. Okay, and we're back to this will be this combat round turn 2.
So I'm going to take a leaf out of Gully's book and hoarsely whisper, "Follow Gully," and I'm going to run, or yeah, that way.
So let me just check this, because you're in combat. So you actually need to make an evade roll to get out of combat, because you're actually in combat with them. So you can't
disengage.
Yeah, in order to disengage, so you need to use up an action point. Yeah, so you fail. So you sort of like try to get away from them, but they just sort of like keep flying around you. Yeah. Bartleby.
Oh, this is a doozy of a situation. I'm not within melee combat range of any of these flying monstrosities, correct?
Correct.
Oh gosh. I'm not gonna be able to protect you guys as much as I should. I'm gonna move up if I can, because I don't think I need to disengage. So
you're just moving? Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Oh shoot, no, I wouldn't be able to take my shirt off of the of my arm while I'm doing that.
No,
I don't think.
You would need another. So you're moving further up?
Yeah, I'll do that next turn.
Okay, cool. Hengist, you're up next.
Hengist is going to try to disengage.
Okay, yeah. So roll your evade. Yeah. Okay. So hang on. So I've got 4 to roll the evade with. The first one succeeds. The second one succeeds. Third one succeeds.
That is some evade skill pointage.
Fourth one. Well, they're tiny little bats.
Oh no, it makes sense. It's
yeah.
just that
So
surprised me.
their evade is
mathematically astounding that it happened all 4 times. That's all.
Can you see my rolls?
Yes.
Yeah. So their evade is 92.
Yeah.
That's why I was.
Yeah.
That's some evade.
So so that's your evade roll. Okay. Yeah. And Gulliver, you're up.
Gulliver's still got his hands on his head almost. Can he see any further from this? He'll.
Are you moving?
Yeah, he'll move, and then he'll look back to see whether or not everybody else is following.
Yeah. Okay. So you can see that Bartleby is, and however, Hengist seems to be in the middle of combat. And Bartleby you can't actually see at all because he's been plunged into darkness. And Hessaret, sorry, yeah. And it is my turn. So these are actually coming to you, Hessaret.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, I put you in darkness, Hessaret.
Yeah, and they miss you, and then these are yours, Hengist. 1 lot of 5, 1 hits. Yeah, 1 lot of them hits. The second one up.
Angus is going to attempt to parry.
Okay, yeah. So
he doesn't quite know how he's going to manage to parry.
Yeah, all you do is you'll just knock them out the way with your sword.
He's not trying to hit them. He's just whirling it around.
Do you don't have your shield out though?
No, it's just sword.
So does that just with a single-handed weapon then, without the shield?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So I thought we had the discussion a little while ago. If you want me to use the other one, I'll use the other one.
No. I was just. Is the other one for like one-handed? One.
So I've got one which is one-handed or one-handed with sword and shield, and then the other one is to use it two-handed.
Right. Okay. Cool. Right. Yeah. So you use up your action to parry, and we're on to combat round. Still 1, turn 3. Hessaret, do you have anything left?
I do, and I am going to blindly try to hit something.
Yeah, okay then. So your actual skill now, well, roll it. And you fail?
Yeah.
You fail. So anybody else got points left?
No.
Not me.
Gulliver has, but he's going to... seeing Bartleby behind him, he's going to turn around and he's going to pull the cover off the lantern.
Oh right, cool.
Of my lantern?
Make a. It's probably not on there a lot in any case.
It's a case of pulling it off without pulling the lantern out.
Yeah. Make a brawn roll for me. Yeah, you do. You pull it off. Bartleby, can you make a brawn roll for me, please?
That's what I've been dying to do. Bartleby's all about that muscle.
Yeah. So what I said to myself was that it's quite easy to pull off the shirt because it won't have been actually on there very tightly fastened or anything. But what I said to myself was that if Gulliver failed it, then Bartleby, you would have to make a brawn roll to keep hold of the lantern, and otherwise it would have been pulled to the floor. So Gulliver, you pull the shirt off, and the light lights up the rest of the corridor. But you, Bartleby, you actually managed to keep hold of the lantern. which is cool. Okay then, so this is going on to combat round 2, round 1, and Hessaret, you're first.
Are you muted?
Sorry, yes, I'm whacking away. Sorry, I'm going to go for a swing. So I've got a standard.
Yeah, that's hit. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to try.
They don't actually evade, and they're too small for any specials on them. So
Right.
you just do your damage.
Damage, no problem.
You couldn't like impale a bunch like a skewer.
Yeah, keep it up. One bad kebab.
So yeah, so that you're almost right, Bartleby, because the 7 points of damage will take out all these bottom token of bats. So you almost like whirl your spear around and either kebab a whole load of them or knock them all to the ground. And this bottom lot of bats, you take sort of like 5 to 10 of them down in one fair swoop. And Bartleby, you're up.
If I can, I'm going to be impressed as a free action.
Yeah.
And then
You can go, ooh.
Shiny.
Ooh, beautiful. And then I am going to I'm going to put on my shirt, I guess. Would that be one action or would that be multiple?
That'll be one action.
I've got you.
All right. Oh, did you just grabbed it and held on? You didn't drop it on the ground?
I just pulled it off the lantern. So I've
He's
got
just
it.
admiring you, Bartleby. He's just holding the chest.
Finally chiseled out.
Have you got moves?
Well, since I don't have a shirt on then, and my shirt is just out of reach, I'm going to use this time to swing my arms around wildly, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, cool.
That nonsense with this nonsense.
Do you wish to look it?
I do not. I'm just
Okay.
going to take off my magic point.
Yeah, so it doesn't,
took off
it
my
doesn't
shirt.
work. Yeah, okay, Hengist, you up.
Hengist is going to try and lash out now at these things using his sword one-handed.
Cool, go for it.
No.
Yeah.
Too
miss.
small and fiddly.
And Gulliver.
Gulliver with a shirt in one hand and seeing that both Hengist and Hessaret are still engaged.
Whirling their thing around, these bats
with
are
these
flying
bats.
all over them.
Gulliver's going to turn round, point at the cluster closest to Hengist with his 2 fingers crossed, and you hear him say, "Night Persid!" as he casts a spell.
Cool.
So I am going to roll my folk magic. Oh, look at that. Failed.
Do you wish to look it?
No.
No. So instead of, you put your hand out and instead of saying, "No Persid," you said, "No Percy." And you think, that's not what I meant to say. And the spell doesn't go off. And, my turn. Right, so Hessaret, you've just got 1 trying to gain purchase on you. And they don't. And then Hengist, you have the 4. Ooh, crit. Okay, that's the first one.
Not the face.
Second one misses. Third one misses. Fourth one misses. Okay, so do you wish to parry this roll? Can I just say, because I'm a critical, you would have to roll a critical to succeed.
No, I think Hengist would probably be too busy trying to fend off the other 3.
Okay, so
As
Let me
he's
write down my
not looking one gets
criticals
him.
before you say what you're going to do.
say again, sorry.
I'm just writing down my criticals.
Right. Okay. So the this one here, you've got like 4 or 5 of these bats attached to you. So this is their one roll to see whether or not they can bite you. which they do. So this is the staggering amount of damage. So each one does 3 points of damage. Okay, and what's your minimum armor?
5.
5. Is that, where's that?
That's everywhere. It's 5 everywhere because he's got iron suit of iron half plate.
So do you have a helmet on as well?
Yeah.
Oh right, sorry. So yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
So you sort of like all these birds, because you're probably all encased in with your helmet, and these birds, you sort of like feel them attached to your sort of like your tabard or anything else, piece of cloth that you've got, and you can feel them sort of like jabbing into the metal, trying to gain purchase, trying to get their beaks into you.
Oh, don't they get specials?
It doesn't have a tabard anyway because the guards took it off.
Yeah.
He's got a calf length.
Yeah.
On his backpack
on his
and everything. And he,
It sounds like hailstones.
yeah, very much so. Excellent. Okay then, and that's round 1 gone. So this is now combat turn 1 gone. So this is combat turn 2. Hessaret, you up?
Yep, I'm going to rinse and repeat and hit it. No.
Do you wish to look it?
No.
Okay. Cool. And Bartleby.
Having failed to swing my arms around wildly, I'm going to point both of my hands, holding the lantern and holding the torch or the club, pointing at this one. I'm gonna ping it. It's one of the clusters of bats.
Yeah, you're just coming into the cluster because they're all merged together. So,
and I'm gonna say, Amriel, cleanse the evil, as I try and make a spark to cleanse them from running away. I mean, I know it doesn't do damage, but I'm hoping to scare him.
Okay, cool.
Scare! Oh.
You go like that, and it just appears in your hand. You go like that, so get it off the floor. Now, just out of interest,
this reminds me of someone.
Would you like to roll 1d3, please?
Yeah, and I'm hoping that in the hand that it affects is rolling d3 is the one with the club.
Okay, yeah, so you still just lose 1 spell point. You could lose up to 3 when they fumble, but it's a 1d3. But so you still just lose the 1, and you sort of like puts it out. And Gulliver, you just see this flame appears and then drops to the floor out of Bartleby's hand.
That's a percent on when you level.
It certainly is, yeah. Hengist, you up?
Hengist is going to carry on trying to fight off this swarm of bats.
Okay, the ones attached to you or the ones that are not attached to you?
The ones that are not attached to me.
Okay, cool.
He doesn't think at the moment he can do anything about the ones that are attached to him because they're on his back.
Yeah, that hits one. So just do some damage for it.
There we go.
Yeah, and that takes out one of the.
As it cuts through, his blade is still obviously glowing with the faint moonlight glow of Amriel.
Excellent. And Gulliver, what would you like to do?
Didn't trying his last spell. You've just heard Gulliver going, "I push it," and then he's going to try to cast again, pointing at it and saying, "Not Persid."
Yeah, you get it just right. That practice beforehand, and it whacks into do some damage.
So that's the it's come up what the spell is. So it's 1d3 / roll 1d3.
Yeah, and your spell sort of like catches the next swarm of bats and takes them out. Right, it's my turn now, isn't it? Yeah. So Hessaret, this is this is your lot attacking. Miss. This is your your single swarm bass trying to gain purchase on you of files. This is the one that actually is on you. Yeah, and they bite into you successfully again. And do 2, which they can't get through your armor. Yeah, so, and now we are... that's the end of combat round 2. Yeah. So, Gulliver, Bartleby, and Hengist, can you make endurance checks for me, please?
Oh, yeah. Bring in the endurance. Bartleby style.
Bartleby's cool. Hengist is cool. And you had to do yours round earlier, Hengist, because of the bats that are actually on you. Okay. I know you did. You did really well. Oh, sorry. Does anybody have any more actions that they want to do in that? I cut you off because you've got another.
So I've got one left.
Yeah. Cool.
Yes, and so has.
Yeah, do some damage. Yeah, that's enough to take out the second horde of bats. Who else has got any left?
Gulliver has.
Okay.
And not the ones that are sort of like clung on to Hengist, but the sort of like the cloud.
Yeah, the cloud one. Yeah.
He's going to once again try to cast the same spell again, pointing at him and saying, "Not Persid."
Oh yes, comes off. Nice. There's a crackle of.
It's actually not a crackle. It's almost like the air is almost like water, but somebody's fired almost like a bullet through it. So it's sort of like a sort of like energy, but it almost looks like it's rippling through water as it shoots from his finger and hits the bats for maximum damage.
Yeah,
again.
cool. Hengist, do you have an action left?
I've lost count. I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Okay, so this is now combat round 3, turn 1, and we're back to you, Hessaret. You are now no longer in combat.
Do I have the reach of my spear to try to nudge these ones off of Hengist?
Okay, you ask this. You ask this every week. Okay,
I do. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
So to actually be engaged in combat, you need to be next. It's only when people are doing long weapons. So, say for example, is your what's your reach of?
It's long, but
okay. So just to give you an example, so yours is long. The bat's beak, if we're going to play the rules, is medium. So if I was now going to go into combat with you and hit, I wouldn't hit you. I would damage your weapon.
That's right. I remember that now. Yes. Sorry. Yeah. I will move over to Hengist then.
Yeah. Okay. So that's your movement.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hengist wouldn't appreciate Hessaret poking his back with.
Yeah.
With his
Bartleby, what would you like to do? So all these are now done, and you can see that Hengist has various birds around him on the things.
I've got pressing concerns, and just to clarify what I'm doing with this, it's going to be a dither, but I asked Amriel to cleanse the evil. She sent fire on my hand.
Yes.
My hands are evil. That's what it is, because they're ugly.
Was it the hand that you have the bracelet on the arm?
Was it?
I'm just.
But then surely the hand wouldn't have gone into flame. It would have been the bracelet.
But I didn't actually burn my hand. The fire appeared near my hand, I guess, and popped on the floor.
Or you could say, Bartleby, that you're so far underground that the moon magic was slightly off target, or she couldn't actually present it for you because you're so far underground.
That one makes me sleep better, so let's do that one.
Yeah. Is there anything you would like to do? Are you just dithering on 19? Cool.
Yeah, I was considering things.
Yeah. Hengist, what would you like to do?
Hengist is going to try and brush or pull these bats off.
Okay, so if you wish to pull or brush them off, then you have two options. You can just use your brawn roll, okay? But if you're using your left hand to do that, then the difficulty be one step higher. Or you can sheathe your sword and then use your brawn roll for the next one, the next action point, to actually pull them off.
No, he's probably going to try and brush them off with his offhand first.
Okay, cool. Go for it. Yeah. So you brush them off, and the bats, these bats are now onto the floor. Gulliver.
So they are they sort of like there's just sort of like a whole load of bats on the.
Yeah, there's about, so Hengist just with his offhand has just sort of like whacked them off him, and his great strength allows them to sort of like brush them off, and they've all landed on the floor, so, on their backs and things like that.
So seeing that, Gulliver is going to cast the same spell again, pointing at the bats on the floor, and hopefully before, and you hear him once again saying, "Not Persid," as he casts his spell.
Cool.
Oh no.
Luck.
Yeah, he's actually going to use a point of luck to make that a
39. And do some damage for me.
And another
3 points. So as Hengist sort of like brushes them off onto the floor, they all land on the floor, and then Gulliver sort of like summons forth his magic and just sends this watery bolt or whatever it looks like, so this energy pulse that actually, he shouts out "Nos Pertrid," and it just sort of like blasts into them, and the whole sort of like 5 to 7 of them just sort of like frizzle on the floor. Hengist, not Hengist, sorry. Hessaret, can you make me a perception roll for me, please? Yeah, you can hear from down here the sound of fluttering. It sounds as if there's more bats flying around inside this place somewhere. It sounds as if they're flying around in sort of like random... no, we're not, almost like random. You can just hear them clicking and flying around. Yeah. Okay, guys. That's the end of that combat round. So we're out of combat now. What would you like to do?
Okay, hearing that, I'm going to put my fingers to my lips to everybody and go...
Gulliver's just going to hold out his hand with... towards Bartleby with his holding Bartleby's shirt.
I'm going to move over to right here, setting down the lantern on the ground, and then putting my shirt on, picking it back up when I'm done. But if anything happens while it's down, it's down.
Okay. Hengist, what are you doing?
Hengist is going to move up the corridor, so he's now standing a little bit further around the corner, so he's in the path between whatever's down that way and Gully.
Okay,
what's this here? Is that...
Hang on a minute. Hessaret, what are you doing?
Being muted.
Being muted.
Being muted and munching on an eclair.
I was moving up with the group while going...
Okay, Hessaret, I just have a question for you. If any group of bats comes through this entrance, so you started off sort of like there, and as you move back, if any bats come through that entrance, what are you doing? Because you'll be the rear guard.
I'm going to be whirling my spear around.
Okay, so if they come into the hole, you're going to start whirling your spear around.
While walking backwards if possible.
Okay, so yeah, so you start to walk backwards, keeping your eye out, and you do notice that sort of like one little sort of like 5 or 6 bats sort of like come through here, and you start to sort of like wave your spear around, and it's almost as if the violent air sort of like you whirling your spear around is actually disturbing the air, and these birds, these bat birds, seem to sense it, and they turn round and start to fly towards you. And as they do that, you hear them letting out these clicks, and as they start flying towards you, you suddenly notice
more.
You figure what's coming through now is probably the content of the other rooms.
Does everybody else see this as well?
Yeah, you anybody up at the front, you see one of these. You see Hessaret sort of like backing off just as Hengist passes you, and you see a swarm of bats sort of like come out quite randomly into the corridor, and Hessaret sort of like sees them and starts to sort of like whirl his staff backwards and forwards, and you notice that the first lot of bats sort of like almost like gravitate towards this as the air currents are moved, and they start to sort of like fly. This is the first group here. There, and they come through, and then you see this sort of like this huge swarm of bats start to almost like funnel their way through the doorway, and it's not just sort of like coming through one at a time. They're actually almost like being squeezed through this and then opening it out into the corridor. Okay, meanwhile, back up here at the top, Hengist, I think you can see the end of the corridor.
Yeah, I can see a bit of wood there. I assume that's the wall.
Yeah, that's wall. Yeah.
Is that just a dead end?
Yeah. So I'll just move.
It does make a difference for me.
Yeah, we got some hard lines here. This
Yeah.
be a very awkward exit.
Yeah, can't see. I got I just got a straight line coming across.
Yeah.
Which
It was like that on the other.
about a third of Hengist is in it.
Yeah.
1 second.
But I'm actually going over the top of it.
I'm going over. You're on my screen. I'm going over the top of it, and then you're going underneath it, Gully.
Why is that?
Sliding underneath the dark.
I see you both going underneath it. Oh my gosh, vision shift. My eyes. I'm seeing some.
blind.
Amriel's giving me a vision.
Oh, I'm moving, but in darkness.
I'm
not too sure why it's cutting off that bit of light, because the actual
Can you take the light off it? Because we're all going to be able to see, are we? Off the thing completely.
you should be able to see now the end of the corridor.
I'm just in complete darkness.
I can see the end of the corridor now, but I can't see anything below Gulliver's forehead.
I can see outside of the tower. Power of my goddess, I guess.
Okay, hang on then. Let's do this.
Yeah, all I can see is like the wall and the outside dirt.
Okay, I'll turn
I
it
see
off.
nothing.
Can I please remind you that once I turn this off, you're going to be able to see the whole of the tower.
I'm zoomed quite far in, so I can't
Yeah,
see
you'll
it.
still be able to see the whole of the tower.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay then. So you should be able to see it now.
Angus is going to say, "This is a dead end. We're going to have to go back."
Gulliver's looking back the other way, and he's going to say, I don't think back's an option.
What would you like to do, guys?
Angus hasn't seen that because he's further around the corridor, so at this point he's going to move forward and go, I think that's still the only way out.
So Hessaret is backing up now, whirling his spear, as
like a loon.
Angus is going to equip his
To be
shield.
fair, I was about to turn and run till the light went out.
and he seems to be being followed by, he's sort of like backing up, and he's being followed by huge amounts of bats that are still flooding out into the corridor. Okay, what would you like to do?
Well, Angus is going to equip his shield and then sort of
Yeah,
mark-
that you did that. That's done.
Yeah,
last
that's
night,
right. I
yeah.
didn't know if that was all.
What do you wish to do?
Going to move forwards to sort of like stand just to the side as Hazra.
Well, I'm gonna say, is there an exit?
No way out.
Crap.
Apart from this way, and Angus is going to nod with, point with this sword straight into the middle of the bats.
Okay, Bartleby and Gulliver, what are you doing while they're doing that?
Gulliver's going to, seeing that it looks like Hengist has taken up a defensive position behind Hazra, and it looks like we're going to be fighting. Gulliver's going to reach into his tunic and take out the disc that he uses to cast his...
Okay, so Gulliver's taken out the disc. Yeah, Bartleby.
Moving forward to right about here, and I presume you only want one action right now.
Yeah, it depends. If you just tell me what you would like to do, then I can split it up into actions.
Gotcha. I'm moving forward, and then I'm going to be praying for the fires of salvation and cleanliness.
Okay, so at that point, this is when the bats actually get to the fighters up at the front. And you suddenly see them sort of like almost like being covered as all these bats start to whirl around them. So what we need to do now, I'll move these up. So Hazra and Hengist, you'll be going first, and we'll just do it roll for roll at the moment. So Hazra, you can go first.
Nice.
Yeah, so you swing and take one of them out. And Hengist? You swing and just hit and take one of them out as well. Gulliver, what are you doing?
Gulliver is going to start spellcasting.
Okay, cool. Bartleby.
Setting out the blaze, and I'd like to do it, if you're looking at the map, this is where I'm kind of aiming, but obviously since it's a bunch of swarms, I'm just going for the back.
Yeah, cool. Roll it.
This is the nonsense, this is the roll. Darn.
Yeah, and so you still figure you're so far underground at the moment that Amriel's light refuses to shine on you. This is 4 on each of you guys. Hazra and Hengist, these are the maximum that I can get round you is 4. So these are your Hazra one. Second one hits. Third one hits. And fourth one misses. So you have 2 hits on you. You can parry both them and use up your action points for that round if you wish. I still will have another...
No, I'm not going to parry. I'm just going to take it because I'll have to get crits on my parries, won't I?
On one of them you will, yeah.
No, they're both crits, weren't they?
No?
There's no star on the standard for the first one, so I assume that means...
sorry. My apologies, sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
No, I'm just gonna...
wrong dice roll. Wrong button.
No.
This is the one I need. Hit. Right, so they both attach onto you, and then so they're sort of like attaching onto you, and they're coming into your right leg, and
Right leg dead.
and yeah, they sort of like swooping in, and sort of like both of them are attached to your right leg, and they're doing 3 points of damage and another 3 points of damage.
So 2 points. Ouch.
Do you have armor there?
I do, yes. So yeah, 1 point each of hit
Yeah.
through.
So you'll take 4. Are you still in positive?
Oh yeah. Sorry, no, I've only taken 1 point each. Because I've got 2 AP. So yes, I'm
Yeah.
still in positive.
Yeah. Cool. And so that was Hessaret. So this is now Hengist's. One hits, next one misses, next one misses, third one misses. I don't know why it just keep rolling there. Do you wish to parry this, or just let them attach?
I was just thinking, would I be able to do passive blocking, or is that something I've already got to have announced?
You have to it's a free action. What you have to announce is a free action to ward location.
Okay.
And then once you ward location, then the passive blocking automatically comes in.
Okay, that's right. So no, in that case, because I haven't already announced that, I'll try and parry.
Yeah, cool, go for it. Let me just match it up. 23. Yeah, so that's fine. You managed to knock them out the way. And so that's the end of that round. We'll just do it on a round-to-round basis. You, Hessaret and Hengist, you have enough action points to actually parry, but then you can have an extra attack every round, so you can have another attack now.
Yep.
Yeah, so both of those hit. So yeah.
Oh, sorry, I pushed the wrong button there. Ignore that one. I wanted that one.
Yeah, so both of you will do enough damage to kill the swarm, and you've both got 3 action points, haven't you?
Yeah. I'm sorry, do you want me to roll to see if I hit? Because I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, please, yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So that takes out enough one of them flying towards you. Do you both have 3 action points?
Yes.
Normally,
Yeah, so you both can have another hit for the end of this this round.
No.
And
Yeah.
yes.
So you're Hessaret, you're sort of like you'll take out another round. Gulliver, you will have had a total of 3 action points. So do you wish to?
Oh, in which case my spell comes off.
Yeah.
So as he holds out the disc, I'll do my invocation.
Yeah, it comes off.
This time 4 swirls of grey smoke come out, and
Just roll your spell so I can say it, please.
I'll roll it again because it was further up.
I didn't. Sorry, I can roll. I can scroll up.
Yeah, I did it straight after Bartleby's as I was doing it because it tells me.
Oh yes, yeah, I see. Yeah,
It was the rack spell.
cool. So I need your damage.
Do you want me to roll it separately for each one?
No, just roll one. I need to know which ones you're aiming for.
The closest ones.
Well, the closest ones are actually attached to your fighters.
Right. In which case, the first rank of the ones that aren't attached.
You probably be better hitting the 4 farther away because the other 4 are probably in front of your fighters as well.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So these will move up on their round. Okay, Bartleby, is there anything you would like to do?
Change up my praying method. See if I can get some more accuracy. Lighter of lights, keeper of the night, destroyer of evil, and you are going to torch the guys in the back for once. No.
Do you wish to use a point of luck?
No, I'm going to continue having trouble with my.
Okay. Cool. Okay then. So now these guys will move up, and Hessaret and Hengist, it's your turn first.
Hengist did say he was going to do ward location, and that location was going to be Hessaret.
Yeah. There'll be no luck.
He can't actually do that. Hessaret, what are you doing?
Well, I'll be hitting. Sorry.
Yeah, cool. Go for it. Yeah, that's enough to take one of them out. Hengist. Yeah, that takes enough one out there. Gulliver.
I take it. So Gulliver's spell took them out. So is that his spell gone now?
What does it actually? Isn't it the same one that you can? Don't you pull it back and attach it again?
Yeah, but I didn't know whether or not if it killed something, then it was classed as being.
No, it has concentration on it, doesn't it?
Right. In which case, I'll go for the next 4 then.
Yeah. Okay then. So just roll some damage. Cool. So your smoky tendrils come out again. And whack, sort of like go into the swarm of bats, and the electricity goes like that, and they just sort of like fry these birds, and they fall down onto the floor. Okay, so we've got some bats actually attached. Oh no, sorry, wrong one. And Hengist, yours, I don't think yours can get through your armor. They got a 2, which I don't think goes through any of your armor location. Let's just see where they are. The one, both on your left arm, they're sort of like hanging on there, and then you have 2 bites that come into you. Both of them hit. They're on your right leg, aren't they, Hessaret?
Yes, they
yeah,
are.
thank you.
Sorry, I'm muted. Sorry,
He
yes.
takes.
Oh, ouch.
You take 2 4s.
2 4s. That's 2 2s. That puts me down to 0.
0 hit points in that location. Yeah.
Yep.
So you need to make an endurance roll for me.
Yes, you got it.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, it's not against that. What did you get?
I got a hard.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't matter that.
40 on
Oh,
them.
40, sorry.
You got 40 out of 71, and yeah, it's all you actually because the original attack was 25 out of 80, so you are higher. So therefore, that's fine. 1d3, please.
At 0, is that still a minor wound, or is that transferring into the next category at 0?
0 hit points or less is a serious wound. So
Thank you.
as long as you've got positive hit points, you're a minor wound.
Good to know.
Yeah, so if you will not be able to use the rest of your attacks for this turn, as the shock of all that coming into your leg, sort of like you can still parry. Or evade if you wish. Okay, no, that's me done. So Hessaret, you can't attack the next time for your hit, but Hengist, you can. And which one are you going for, Hengist, now? Are you going for the one in front of you, or you're trying to pull the ones off that are on you? We'll assume that you're going for the one in front of you, which will take that one out. And then Hessaret, you can't do anything. This Gulliver.
No.
I suppose the only lot that I'm going to be able to sort of like fight is that.
I don't think you'll even be able to see that now because it's probably round here. So I think your
In which case, I'll drop my spell.
spell goes. Yeah, Bartleby.
Bartleby is going to move over to where I'm pinging, kind of on the
Yeah, so you can see these bats hanging onto Hessaret's leg, and you can see that they've got their beaks pushed through his cloth into his calf muscle, and you can see that they're almost like their heads are getting really sort of like big, and they almost like to be like leeches sucking the blood out of the calf. Hessaret, this is your third action point.
Can I try to brush them off? I can't make any sort of attack move, can I?
No, because you cannot attack for one turn, which you've done that now. So this is your attack.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry, in that case, yes, I will try to brush these off my leg.
Yeah, so just make a normal attack roll with it. Oh no, do you wish to look it?
I wish to look it, yes, please.
Okay. No, obviously things are not going well.
The blood's draining from my head.
Yeah, they going
wrong leg, wrong leg.
Hengist. Hengist, you can start trying to brush these off you now. So roll your weapon skill.
Are you muted? You sound muted to me.
Sorry. Hengist is going to use a free action to drop his sword, and then he wants to use his main action to move over to the side of Hessaret. He's ignoring the fact that he's still got these two things on him, like trying to bite him through his armor.
Okay, so you're dropping your sword and then moving. Okay then.
Yeah.
So on to the next round then. So Hessaret, what do you wish to do?
You too.
So is that me?
Yeah, you're Hessaret. Yeah.
Sorry.
Well done.
Good grief.
well done for paying attention there.
Yeah, nice one.
Sorry.
It's really nice to know that I'm creating an atmosphere that is making people attentive, and they're really.
I have an excuse. I had an agonising bout of cramp a moment ago. That's why I muted it, because I was swearing.
Screaming in pain. Yeah, me too. Yes, so I hit if that's the pushing off. We should do sign language.
That would have helped us not make a lot of noise in this scenario.
It would, definitely. Sorry, yeah, there we go. So yes, I'll be brushing them off me.
Yeah. Okay then.
Yep. I've rolled it. Sorry. Yep.
Okay then. So that will knock one of them down to the floor. Hengist, what are you doing?
Hengist is going to use his action to try and pull as many of the bats off Hessaret as he can.
Okay then. Yeah.
Do you want me to? What do you want me to roll for that? Do you want me to
Does
roll
your combat skill?
combat skill?
Oh no, it can't be. It'll have to be your brawn.
Brawn. Okay, that's what. Yeah, I thought I'd ask. There you go. That's my brawn roll.
Yeah. So you pull another one of these off. So the one in front of you, Hessaret, tries to attach on you and misses. And then these two that are on the floor, Bartleby, that have just been pulled off by the fighters, and they're on the floor. You notice that they sort of like rise up and come into, one of them moves towards you, Bartleby, and the other one flies towards you, Gulliver. So that's their movement done. So Hessaret, you're next.
Do
Oh yeah, sorry, Bartleby. Yeah, sorry. What was your action going to be?
As Gulliver saw one coming towards him, he wanted to swap his disc over into his other hand and cast a spell.
Yeah, you can cast a spell. Yeah.
So again, freeing up his hand, he's going to point at this of one and just say "Noit Persid" and cast his.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that does it. So as either Hessaret or Hengist knocks it off, and they jump back up and they start to fly towards you. And as they come towards you, you just hold your hand out and say "Not Persid," and the water magic flies from it. And then just takes it out. Bartleby, what do you want to do as this one comes towards you?
Well, I'm going to lift my club arm and draw on the power of arm.
Cool.
And swing as hard as I can, thug style.
Which actually hits. And as they fly up to us, you just sort of like use a backhanded swipe with your hammer, and you sort of like your club, and you take them to one side, and you actually smash them against this wall. As they sort of like coming up to the floor, you do a bash on it, and you take that one out.
Maybe that's what the flame of Amriel was for, to make that arm stronger.
Hessaret, you're up.
Okay, I'm going to swing. I'm going to hit.
Yeah, and that one takes that one out. Hengist, what would you like to do?
Hengist is seeing that Hessaret is now clear. He's going to turn to the swarms that are desperately trying to work their way through his armor, and he's going to try and like flick them off him with his right hand.
Yeah, and we'll say now that there's only one couple of swarms left, and by the end of it, you quite easily manage to knock them off and deal with them, and the whole corridor now is full of dead bat-like birds, and Hessaret, you're bleeding from your leg.
Hengist will quickly
I'm
reach
take up my first aid.
Yeah, sorry, hand. Can you just make a endurance check for me, please?
Endurance. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah, cool. The blood seems to be clotting around your cloth as it sort of like comes coming out.
I'm naturally a good healer.
It's literally is bleeding because they technically have a bleed on you. So until it's actually healed, it will bleed out at the end of every round.
Yeah. So I will use the first aid kit on that.
Are you using the first aid kit on yourself?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay then. So this will be a hard roll because you're actually you've actually got a serious wound, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it'll be a formidable roll that you need to organise yourself on.
Is there any chance? Oh, never mind.
But if he's also bleeding out, it's using it takes minutes rather than combat rounds.
How long does it take minutes wise?
I think it's 1d3 minutes to use the first aid check.
If there's minutes to be spent, the little healer boy Bartleby is trying to rush over.
Yeah, cool.
Perform some emergency services.
Before I get to my backpack.
If that's okay with you, Animals.
Yeah, no, that's fine. First aid takes 1d3 minutes.
You know what doesn't take 1d3 minutes? Calling on a goddess.
Hey,
We'll see.
Daring Dial.
Let's see, and it's exhort that I want to use. This is the miracle I'm working on.
Yeah.
And I'm going to exhort the goddess Amriel to cure your leg and bring it back to its stability.
Yes.
Dial.
Bang.
Nice. Yeah, and the light of Amriel actually comes through. And Bartleby, you suddenly get this feeling that perhaps, using the lesser magic of Amriel is not always working, but when you call on her mighty power, the power that is suitable
true
for
power of the goddess.
Yeah, then you notice that her moonlight shines down on the leg, and it actually restores it right the way up to full hit points. As you notice that the wound actually closes up.
You even hear a little in the background.
I shall walk over on my new leg to Bartleby and give him that hug.
Well, I was touching you to do this, so you can just hug me right where you're
I'll
sitting.
be touching you.
Cool. Okay. What would you like to do, guys?
Bartleby, does he smell of roses?
Okay. So what we'll
Lavender.
assume now that you can see the whole bottom layer, we'll assume that you have walked round and you can see all of it, since the dynamic lighting's not working. So you can see it all. So you can see where everything is. What would you like to do?
Start digging.
I think that's... Unless there's... Gulliver, would you be able to use your... is there a gap in there that you can use your transportation spell through? In the rubble?
Yeah, but as soon as I finish concentrating on it, it comes back, and I have to see where I'm teleporting.
Yeah, if you remember, there's no gap. There probably was a gap at one point, but now that's been filled in.
It has to be stable ground as well, doesn't it, as well? Okay, well, I was going to say, we if there's no exit here, we might as well start pulling the rocks away and see if we can make an exit up the stairs.
Seems to be the only course of action.
Yes, indeed.
It might be worth making a campfire while we're down here, or maybe not.
Yeah.
Limited oxygen here, aren't we? Limited air.
And limited wood.
Yeah.
But we have unlimited bats, so I mean, that's not a good resource right now.
So what are you actually doing? Are you going to try to is Hessaret Hengist going back to the rubble and trying to remove it?
I'm helping with that. I've got good endurance. I'm a tough boy.
Yeah, the only reason I'm saying too is because of the width of the...
Well, we would probably take the rubble out and then form a chain gang.
Yeah.
Gulliver's going to suggest to Bartleby's going to say, maybe use your magic side, because if you remember the last place was there was a hidden door. If you see whether or not you can find it by magic, I'll see whether or not I can find it by tapping the walls.
Can do. Just stand back a little bit, and I don't understand that. I begin to wave my arms wildly, preparing this prayer of sight and inner belief, getting my heart rate up, and spending my last luck point to go for a reroll if I can on the magic. That's not the magic.
Oh yes, and on the second roll, it actually comes off, and Amriel's goddess's power flows through you, and just as Hengist and Hessaret are heading off to, they've had the normal flexing of muscles to see who's actually got the biggest, and it's all like, say, yeah, we could do this, let's make a chain can, just pass a little bit of rocks to each other, and we'll just try to dig out a whole lot of soil as well using my shield. You call forth the power of the goddess, Bartleby, and you notice that at the end of the corridor, I'll put it on for you. Just here, you notice that once you cast your eyes on there, you notice that the outline of a panel sort of like illuminates and starts to glow in sort of like yellow. and as it glows, you can see that it probably is some kind of a push panel in the stone that will actually push maybe inwards or down to one side. And you sort of like come up to it, and while your witch sight is still on, you actually push it, and it opens off into, just in here, the size of that area. Can you see where I mean? There's like a room, and just on this side there is a set of ladders that actually goes up to the next floor. And you just sort of like turn back to Hengist and Hessaret, who are busy talking about train gangs with the shovels or whatever. You just sort of like turn around and say, there's a door here and a ladder.
Ooh,
and
brilliant.
And it looks like you're not going to have to dig your way out of it at all.
Let's put these back where we found them.
And
Let's take some bats too for lunch.
And we will leave it there
Sucked Hessaret.
for this week. Okay, guys. So well done. You've actually managed to get there, defeated a whole load of bats. Just to let you know, Mithras has a way of doing mass combat called rabble, which basically means there's actually loads of them, but they only have they have no armor and like 1 hit point each. So just like a swipe kills a whole load of them, rather than having a swarm of them each doing a hit, everything's sort of like clumped together, so the combat can go quite quickly through them. There's advantages and disadvantages, but it really means that you can have masses of monsters actually attacking you. So hopefully next week you will be able to see what is up the ladder as you go upstairs. So just to finish off, does anybody have any announcements that they would like to make?
No.
I do.
Go for it.
I'm doing the final episode of Chapter 1 of Traveler on Thursday, and then I'm going to be able to take a break from Dungeon Mastering.
Oh, cool.
Who's
Yeah.
taking over?
It's actually going to be Wrath is taking over. He's going to be doing an open legend version of his homebrew game that he's ran a few times before, Revolution. And it's going to be taking up the same exact time slot as Traveler once did, which is Thursdays on Wrath Inspired's channel at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time.
Excellent.
And are you also doing a co-op with Wrath Inspired?
A co-op?
Yeah, a co-op game.
I don't know what rumors he's been spreading around, but I do have a nonsense thing coming up that might.
No, I'm sure I saw something on his YouTube channel. You were playing Vagrant or something like that. Were you playing?
Oh, we were escaping prison together and playing some pixelated game that I don't know.
Sorry, Bartleby, we do not want to know about your private life and escaping prison with Raph. I'm sorry, we just don't want to go there.
It's my dark background.
Yes. Anyone else? Anything to say?
My computer's broken, so no streaming from me.
Okay, so tomorrow at 3 o'clock BST time, I will be once again investigating the Somerset Isles. So if you would like to see some Elder Scrolls Online, then please do come along. Tuesday at 7 o'clock BST time on this channel, we'll be venturing into the world of the cyberpunk world of Shadowrun, where I do believe that Studley and Billy Bob are down underground in a subway, and you've just started to hear the escalators set coming up. So obviously something is coming up, and then we will be around next Saturday, 3 o'clock for me BST time for more Elder Scrolls Online, and then we'll hopefully be back playing more Mithras this time next week. So please, if you've enjoyed today's session, then don't forget to follow, like, or do whatever. I really appreciate your support, and I would like to say I'm going to end the stream like I always do by saying to each and every one of you, please be who you are and say what you feel, because the people who mind don't matter, and the people who matter don't mind. Have fun, and I will catch you all later, and until then, consider yourself well and truly waffled. Have fun, guys. Bye.
Goodbye.